You know the drill by now. One TikTok on one Pokemon, this time for all of Generation 5, now done, and in this nice compilation for you. So sit back, relax, get ready for your aspect ratio to flip because of their TikToks, and definitely go follow my TikTok if you haven't yet, because Generation 6 starts tomorrow, and the hype season for ZA can begin. Pokemon number 494 in the start of Generation 5. Victini. Starting off with not a starter, but a mythical. Interesting. Of course, this was done because, and you're going to hear me say this a lot this generation, Generation 5 was meant to be a soft reboot of the series. So of course, starting with a mythical instead? Yeah. And you know, I like Victini, it's cute. It was literally the last legendary until Gen 9 to get a location you can physically go to catch it, and you can get it early game so you can have it on your team. Yeah, I took advantage of that back in the day, that was neat. And Victini's movie. You know, the whole dual movie gimmick, I guess kind of neat, but like, even back in the day when I was a dumb kid, after watching that film I was like, that wasn't very good. I mean, sure, it just came off the high of the Sinnoh trilogy, but still. So yeah, it's Victini. A very unique way to start off the generation. Like, very unique. Hasn't been done again. I mean, hey, who knows, maybe Gen 10. Pokemon number 495. Snivy. The grass-type starter to Generation 5, and I do really like Snivy. Though I will say, I was very indifferent to Snivy at first. But then, the Gen 5 anime. Yes, I know the Gen 5 anime isn't very good, but it has a few good moments. Specifically, this moment, the 5th Gym Leader. That fight really showed off Snivy, like, insanely well, that made me go, oh, actually Snivy's really dang cool. Oh, I really like it now. Also, if you're wondering about my thoughts on that whole Smugleaf meme back when Generation 5 was being announced, I didn't start following Pokemon announcement news until Black and White 2, so I wasn't there for Smugleaf, unfortunately. So yeah, that's Snivy. You know, I didn't really know how to bring this up naturally, so I'll just force it in now. Shout out to my dad for winning me this thing back in the day at the carnival. Pokemon number 496. Servine. Oh no, Snivy. You're losing your hands! Servine's a fine middle stage. Nothing too jarring, honestly. It looks just fine. Not really too awkward at all, honestly. Like, it really just is bigger Snivy, but lost its arms, basically. Well, mostly. With, of course, almost losing its arms being a hint at what it'll become. And, you know, it's really odd that Snivy evolves into Servine at level 17. Like, that feels so random. And all 3 Unova starters evolve at level 17, which is weird. And of course, it's only the tip of the iceberg of the evolution levels in Gen 5. Oh boy, we're gonna get there. So yeah, that's Servine. It's fine. Wait a minute. Fine. Servine. Huh. Pokemon number 497. Serperior. The final stage for Gen 5's Grass starter, and ooh, I love Serperior, you know? Snakes are neat. But of course, the real praise for Serperior is its hidden ability. Oh. Contrary, reversing stat changes, so it can't buff itself, but if it uses a Leaf Storm that normally lowers your special attack by 2 stages, oh, that's 2 stages up now, just Leaf Storm again, now that's 4 times up, oh, I love it, I love it. And you know, just talking about the design itself, I really like it. It looks real, am I gonna say the word? I haven't said it in a while. It's very aesthetically pleasing. You know, it's a very nice, royal, cool looking snake. So yeah, that's Serperior. Am I really gonna end the video by going, oh, with that ability, it truly is Serperior? I don't know. Wait. Pokemon number 498. Tepig. Tepig here is the first starter ever to miss. Like every other starter, even like, you know, the bad ones like Chikorita up to this point, people have still liked. But this is the first generation where like starters stopped becoming a guaranteed hit. Now don't get me wrong, I do really like Tepig. He's a cute little pig. But his evolutions, we'll get to them. And boy, it doesn't help that his story in the anime is literally just Chimchar, but again, but worse. Especially considering that literally just happened last generation. You know, I'm gonna clarify again. Tepig is cute, and I do like him. But this is the generation where people started having problems with some starters. So yeah, it's Tepig. Now, as you can see my little Tepig figure here, his tail fell off. That's like the easiest thing in super glue ever. My brother in Christ, I'm very lazy. Pokemon number 499. Pignite. Oh boy. Here we go. I really don't like Pignite very much. He is like the definition of an awkward middle stage. He just does not look good. This is truly a starter miss. And Pignite so easily disproves the theory that, oh, they only ever give characters in anime Pokemon that's, like, marketable. Why in the world did Ash's adorable Tepig evolve into a Pignite and stay that way for the rest of the series? Pignite is not marketable at all. Like, really, Tepig or its final evolution, I can see either of those being marketable. But Pignite? Ew. So, yeah, it's Pignite. May this quite possibly be my least favorite middle stage starter? No, there's worse. Pokemon number 500. Emboar. The final stage of the fire starter of Generation 5. And I have quite the love-hate relationship with Emboar here. It's a real back and forth, let me tell you. You know, sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. Like, I see his 3D model and I'm like, don't really like him. I see him animated well in the anime, and it's like, no, actually, he looks kind of decent. Maybe I don't hate him. It's complex. And of course, with Emboar being the third firefighting starter in a row, that definitely doesn't help. So what helps Emboar a lot is he was my starter in my Black 2 file, and, big reveal, Black and White 2 is my favorite Pokemon game. Yes, even more than Platinum. It beats out the nostalgia. It's that good. So yeah, it's Emboar. I like him. I don't like him. I like him. I don't like him. I like him. I don't like him. I like him. Pokemon number 501. Oshawott. Oh, I love Oshawott. He's absolutely adorable. And you know, Oshawott here, I kind of feel like he's like the first ugly starter, but you know, still loved, but you know, some people don't like him because he's ugly. You know, I think it's the white head on the blue body, and like that's like clashing enough for some people. You know, maybe it's the nose, but like I think he is like ugly, but oh, I love him. Like, in the anime, in Pokepark 2, they really nailed down his personality and made him so likable. And adorable, of course. I should really clarify, I don't think he looks ugly, but again, some people do, you know, starters controversial this generation. Already went over this with Tepig. So, yeah, that's Oshawott. He's like a pug. Ugly, but cute. But, you know, I don't get pugs, but I do get Oshawott. Pokemon number 502. Duat. The evolution to Duat definitely, in my opinion, seems to be a fan favorite. Like, you know, it's one of those good, popular middle stages that people really like. And yeah, I do like Duat too. He's real neat, you know, he's a bigger Oshawott with a better color scheme than, you know, Oshawott's awkward white head. Still love Oshawott. And then he has 2 scallops instead of 1. Oh, we didn't even talk about the scallops with Oshawott. Yeah, you know, those neat scallop things he uses as swords and maybe boomerangs and such. Real cool. So yeah, that's Duat. A nice middle stage with no controversy. Oh wait, actually, because of how popular Duat is, that then leads to his evolution being controversial. Oh man, we just cannot escape controversy with Generation 5, and we ain't even out of the starters yet. Pokemon number 503. Samurott. Now, Samurott here is actually kind of controversial among a good number of people because he does not look like Duat. He looks too different. People just want a bigger Duat instead of him. But you know, I like Oshawott. I like Duat. Oh, I love Samurott. Oh, he's so cool. The mustache, peak, the swords on his arms, peak, the helmet with the horn. Love it. He is just so cool. I cannot see the hate. I cannot see the disappointment. I mean, sure, maybe a bigger Duat would look cooler, but like, come on, Samurott's so cool. And not to mention that powerful cry. Oh, fantastic. So yeah, it's Samurott. A disappointment to some, and I do not understand those some. Pokemon number 504. Patrat. Patrat, whatever. Here we have the early game rodent for Generation 5, and Patrat here is very unpopular among the community. Now, am I gonna go against the grain like I sometimes do? Nah, I don't like him either. You got those cheeks that I'm just not a fan of. You got those eyes that are just, Like, I get the point of the eyes. He's a scout and those are scouting eyes, but like, not a fan. And, you know, early game rodent, so not very good, so like, really not worth it. So, yeah, it's Patrat. I mean, I'm definitely against the Generation 5 haters, but like, oh, Patrat, you are not making it easy. Pokemon number 505. Watchog. Okay, Patrat was a miss, but does his evolution, improve anything? Fix anything? No, he gets worse. He now has this yellow pattern all over his body to make it look like he's wearing a safety vest, like he's a construction worker. Like, I get that, but like, Though I do gotta say, Watchdog is actually kind of impressive. Impressive how he can be a weak early game mon, but also somehow an annoying boss fight. He's the ace to the second gym leader of the first game, and he'll hit you with hypnosis and confusion, and just, he's a normal type, so you need a fighting type, and you might not have one at that point, so it's like, So yeah, that's Watchdog. Actually the yellow vest is a fantastic design choice. So that way, because this way, I can see it from a mile away and walk the other direction. Pokemon number 506. Lillipup. A cute little dog Pokemon, and of course I love him. I love dogs. And Lillipup here is the first dog since Generation 1 to not be a dark type, i.e. an evil, mean puppy that'll be biting at ya. Finally, we got a wholesome puppy again. That's what we need to heal as a society. And Lillipup here is great, because he's caught early game, and he evolves 2 times, so he keeps up throughout the entire playthrough and is very useful. And he can even learn Surf, so you don't gotta worry about a water type. Well, his final Evo can, that is. Though, do people have a problem with his face mask fur thing? I don't, but Generation 5 controversial, so I'm just asking. So yeah, that's Lillipup. This is what we need nowadays, in these trying times. An adorable, wholesome puppy. Pokemon number 507. Herdier. The evolution to Lillipup. Yeah, that certainly is a bigger dog. His face, mask, fur thing is a lot more pronounced instead of just all over the place. And that little spot on his back has turned into a full-on just cape covering him, basically. Yeah, there really ain't too much to say. It's just a neat-looking, bigger Lillipup. I guess I can say shout out to Game Freak for making them evolve at a reasonable level of 16 and then 32. Like, yeah, good job, finally. Very out of character for them, especially for Generation 5. So, yeah, that's Herdier. Perhaps the most normal-looking dog Pokemon? Well, I mean, he is a normal type, so... Pokemon number 508. Stoutland. The final evolution to Lillipup is a big, chonky dog. We had a big fat cat last generation, now we got a big fat dog this generation. Animal equality. Now Stoutland here is a pretty dang decent Pokemon. Nothing too broken, but a nice 110 attack, 90 defenses, even 80 speed. Not the worst, and then Intimidate for his main ability. Ooh, useful. Though of course the big thing he's known for is being a mentor to this Pokemon here in the anime, and then dying in genuinely one of the saddest moments in the Pokemon anime. Like, man, well done. So, yeah, that's Stoutland. An absolute classic. Strong, loyal dog. Gotta love it. Pokemon number 509. Purloin. Purloin here is an early game dark type, which we've had one of those before, back in Generation 3 with Poochyena. And of course Poochyena was a dog, and now this Purloin is a cat. Neat. Now Purloin here is the classic cat burglar. It's a thief. Stealing stuff. Classic. Though Purloin here is also known for standing on its hind legs a lot, and just looking odd when it does, which happens a lot. Like, it's not even the fault of its 3D model. Literally in the Gen 5 anime, it stands up. So like, they planned this since the beginning. We spent all our efforts yelling at starters to maybe stay on all fours, but maybe we should focus some of that effort to Purloin. So yeah, that's Purloin. A dark early game dog, a dark early game cat. What's next? Actually, what would be next? Those two are like the 2 pets, so... Pokemon number 510. Liepard. The evolution to Purloin, luckily, is not known for standing on its hind legs, which I think that would look extra weird for Liepard. It's like, it's real long, so, yeah. Would the word lanky work to describe? Would you really want to use the word lanky to describe Liepard? I mean, I guess. So unlike Purloin, I like Liepard, it's a neat-looking cat Pokemon, continues the whole thief aesthetic with the face mask pattern thing, and it has that neat tail that looks like a blade. Has it ever used that tail to attack? I can't remember. Though in the games, only evolves once early game, so not too good. 2 of its 3 abilities up its speed, when its speed is its highest stat already, so guess we're going with Limber. So, yeah, that's Liepard. Just you watch. Gen 11, Game Freak gives it a new evolution where it stands up. Please no. Pokemon number 511. Pansage. Here we go. Time to talk about the monkeys. Now, Pansage here and his brethren are a kind of secondary elemental basic trio that you get early game. It's really interesting that they did that. Though, the monkeys are kind of known for being not very popular, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of them either. Though, I mean, I guess Pansage is like the most fine one. Probably because, you know, he was in the anime as a main Pokemon of one of Ash's companions, so yeah, that's Pansage. I mean, you may be disappointed, but this is the best we got. We're only going down from here. Pokemon number 512. Simisage. The evolution to Pansage, again, I think is like the most least unpopular of the three. Did I word that correctly? I think I did. You know, I used one before, and he was fine. It was that old event, I think it was at Toys R Us, where you got an egg that randomly hatched into like one of 3 Pokemon from the anime. And of course I got the worst one, Pansage, but, you know, used him anyways, and yeah, it was fine. And I mean, hey, 98 attack and 101 speed isn't the worst thing ever. So yeah, that's Simisage. Usable? Maybe, I guess so. But do I want to again? I'm good with the one and done. Pokemon number 513. Pansear. So I got nothing to say about Pansear, so let's just talk about in general. I've seen people in two wildly different camps about the monkeys and just their inclusion. On one hand, people are like, oh, this is why Black and White is such a baby, stupid, easy game. They give you a Pokemon super effective against the first gym leader, even though it's supposed to be super effective against your starter, and make it a challenge, so it's not a challenge. But on the other hand, I've seen people go, oh, this is why Black and White is so hard. They had to give you this monkey to give you an advantage so you could actually beat the first gym because it's so difficult because it's super effective against your starter. Like, seriously, I've seen a person argue that point, and I've seen a person argue that point. Wild. So, yeah, that's Pansear. Oh yeah, this video was specifically on Pansear. Pokemon number 514. Simisear. Simisear here is actually known for something. He's real dang famous for being voted the least popular Pokemon of all time over in Japan. Man, that that really hurts. Man, I mean, honestly, I just like the water one more, but wowza. So do I have anything to say to Simisear to maybe cheer him up, other than he's not my least favorite? So, yeah, that's Simisear. A world record. The most people's least favorite of anything ever, really. Other than murder and other crimes. Pokemon number 515. Pampor. So I guess Pampor here is my least favorite of the 3, mainly because those head bulb things, very similar to the ones on the pink Shellos that I'm not a fan of, you know, just not a fan of that design aspect. But, you know, like, least favorite, I'm not a big fan of any of the monkeys, really. Just like a majority of people following the flow on this one. And for anyone going like, man, he really is just a normally following the trends, remember I like Rhyperior. Well, okay, let's actually say something about the monkeys. It's interesting how the Firestone literally has not been used and given to a new Pokemon since Gen 1, and then finally it's back and being used! And of course it's by the monkey. Oh wait, this is supposed to be a video about Panpour. So yeah, it's Panpour! Now I guess I know the head bulbs are not as pronounced as Shellos, but I already don't like the monkeys, so, you know, it's just enough. Pokemon number 516. Simipour. The last monkey. For now, at least. You know, kind of just like with Shellos to Gastrodon, Simipour here gets rid of the head bulb things. So, yeah, looks better. You know, I'm really running out of things to say about these monkeys, so I guess it's interesting how they each have a patch of white somewhere on their body. Simisage has the eyebrows, Simisear has the shoulder pads, Simipour has the bib thing, and then Simisage also has the shoulder pads, so dang it, you guys just can't do anything right. You only get one, that's the thing. Wait, why am I yelling at Simipour? It's Simisage that's the problem. So yeah, that's Simipour. Finally, we're out of the monkey zone. So what did we learn? Oh. Pokemon number 517. Munna. Munna is this cute little sidekick Pokemon that'll nobble on your dreams, whatever that means. And Munna here is a part of a classic Did You Know? Did you know there's this random NPC in Gen 1 that talks about a pink Pokemon with a flower pattern? Did they have Muna designed in Gen 1? No, they did not design Muna in Gen 1 and then wait until Generation 5 to make it a thing. The best bet, honestly, is that a designer at Game Freak remembered that line and then was like, hey, actually, let's make a Pokemon out of that, you know. Gen 5's a soft reboot, so fitting callback. So, yeah, that's Muna. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe they really did design Muna back in Gen 1. With all the leaks of beta Pokemon we've been seeing recently, they really do have a vault full of unused mons they could just pull from if they wanted. Pokemon number 518. Musharna. The evolution to Muna is kind of the poster child for a major mechanic feature in Generation 5, the Dream World, which I got nothing to say. I couldn't figure it out as a kid. This was before I was internet literate. I was just learning, what? There's trailers for the new Pokemon game online? On the internet? I had barely figured out how to do a mystery gift by Gen 5. And, you know, Musharna is always known for being asleep and having that dream mist come out of it, but what if it was awake? There is images of it being awake from the anime. It looks weird when it's awake. So, yeah, it's Musharna. Shh, don't wake it up. No, not because it's peacefully sleeping. It's because I don't want to see what it looks like when it's awake. Trust me, you don't either. Pokemon number 519. Pidove. Okay, finally, we made it to the regional bird. Boy, that took a while in between the regional rodent. Pidove is a cute little pigeon, and yeah, that makes sense considering Gen 5 takes place in New York, so yeah, fitting. Though honestly, that's kind of just the thing. He's just a pigeon. And, you know, because of that, he's not too popular among the community, because he really is just a basic pigeon. Which is, you know, very ironic, because people complain the Generation 5 mons are overdesigned, yet here we have a literal basic pigeon. I mean, like, Pidove is real cute, but, like, it's hard to follow up Starly. Maybe even without my nostalgia, it's hard to follow up Starly. So, yeah, it's Pidove. The most famous basic Pokemon number 520. Tranquil. The evolution to Pidove, I think, is actually even more unpopular than Pidove. You know, because Pidove at least had the cuteness factor going for it, and now Tranquil here just isn't still cute, and he's still basic, so, yeah. I mean, I don't got strong feelings against him or anything, but I also don't really have strong feelings for him. Though, you know, interestingly, Tranquil could actually maybe be decent mid-game, because, like, he has the ability Super Luck ups crits, and then he learns Air Cutter pretty dang early, so that has a high crit as well, so double high crit. Yeah, actually kind of decent. So, yeah, it's Tranquil. Is critical hits enough to save this man's? I don't think so. You really gotta give us something else as well. Pokemon number 521. Unpheasant. Or, you know, Unfezant, however you want to say it. Pidove's final evolution here is, again, not too popular, but it's actually kind of neat. Because it's the first Pokemon to have a very noticeable gender difference. Not just like a different color scheme like Hippowdon, but like actually different like physical design. You know, the male is a lot more colorful, and where the female's a lot more brown and basic, just like real-life birds. Which is, again, interesting, since, you know, well, that's the opposite to humans, you know, with your average guy just throwing on a basic gray shirt and calling it a day. So, yeah, it's Unpheasant. I mean, sure, it does have a title for a first in something, but I don't think it's going to save it in the popularity polls. Pokemon number 522. Blitzel. Blitzel is an absolutely adorable little electric zebra. Absolutely love him. Now, with Generation 5 being considered a soft reboot for the series, of course a lot of these new Pokemon need to, not replace, but like invoke, I guess, the older Pokemon, you know. And I definitely think that Blitzel here is meant to be a revoking, replacement, whatever, of Ponyta. Though, you know, replace is like kind of a big, mean word, because like, I could have Blitzel and Ponyta on the same team. They're friends. So, yeah, it's Blitzel. Alright, we got the Fire Horse, we got the Electric, not Horse Zebra, you know, they're close enough. What's next? Do we need a Grass and Water Horse or something? Gen 10? Pokemon number 523. Zebstrika. The evolution to Blitzel is a real cool big ol' electric zebra. Really love it. Though I do gotta be fair and balanced, it's a physical attacking electric type and those just aren't very good, even with the Good Move Wild Charge introduced this generation. Good move? It's 90 power but has recoil, that's horrible. And interestingly, with the leaks we got recently, we saw that originally it wasn't going to be Blitzel Zebstrika. It was going to be just one singular stage middle medium horse, electric zebra thing. And I'm glad that they went with what they went with now because, small little guy to big intimidating guy, love that. Favorite aspect about Pokemon. So yeah, it's Zebstrika. Real cool, neat mon that definitely stands up to its Gen 1 counterpart. Mainly because both of them are physical attackers for special attacking types. Pokemon number 524. Roggenrola. Pencil sharpener looking at... Because Generation 5 is a soft reboot, Roggenrola here is a kind of Geodude replacement. A 3-stage rock type, and the final stage evolves via trade. And yeah, I like Roggenrola. He doesn't really have a face, but, he's kind of cute. Sort of. Ish. But do I prefer him over Geodude? Geodude has more going on with his design, but Roggenrola has more colors. Geodude is literally just one singular color, so it's As for the overall community, I think they've swinged more towards Roggenrola over the years. I definitely remember he wasn't popular at first, but I think people like him now. So, yeah, that's Roggenrola. Okay, no, serious question. Is there a Roggenrola pencil sharpener? Because if not, Game Freak, you're missing out on millions of dollars. Pokemon number 525. Boldore. Roggenrola's evolution certainly has more going on with his design, with those gems just all over his body. Body? It's a rock. I definitely think he's less awkward than Graveler, so therefore less hated than Graveler. Though I do have a bone to pick with him. The fact that Ash gets one in the anime and just doesn't evolve it? Really? Gen 5's a soft reboot, so just steal that plot point from Gen 1 where he trays away a Pokemon and then feels bad and trays it back. Easy. Once again, the Generation 5 anime proves no, they do not only give characters in the anime Pokemon that's marketable. Because really? Boldore's more marketable over his evolution or pre-evolution? Really? So yeah, it's Boldore. Don't quote me on Boldore's more popular than Graveler. I don't know, I'm just guessing. I'm not going to go through every single forum post about Boldore versus Graveler. Pokemon number 526. Gigalith. So, I do like Golem. I think he's pretty neat. Oh, I love Gigalith. He's real cool. Big, intimidating, got those crystals around his mouth now, so he looks, actually just extra intimidating. Real cool. Though, he's pure rock type, so it just feels a little weird to hit this Golem replacement with Thunderbolt, And Gigalith is just one of those Pokemon that has a really cool shiny that I've always thought about getting, but never really went through the effort of, and then I just randomly found one in the wild, so yeah, one of the best things that could happen to a person. Well, other than winning the lottery or getting a dream job or anything tangible, really. Oh, also, this entire line is the poster child for the new way Sturdy works in Generation 5, where you just can survive a hit if you're at full HP. Infamous. So, yeah, it's Gigalith. They had to make a replacement for a classic, and in this instance, I definitely think they succeeded. Pokemon number 527. Woobat. Because Generation 5 is a soft reboot, Woobat here is a Zubat replacement. Though it's kind of like the Gen 1 Zubat, because it only evolves once. Though then that one thing it evolves into evolves by a friendship, so that's Gen 2, so there's some crossing streams going on here, but And, yeah, I'm very confident in saying I prefer Zubat. I'm a big Gen 5 fan, but nah fam, I prefer Zubat. Zubat all the way. But what is it about Woobat that I don't? It's the nose. It's the nose. So, yeah, that's Woobat. I guess we knows who I like. No. Stop. That was horrible. Oh, we're still recording. Pokemon number 528. Swoobat. So for just looking at Gen 1, preferring Swoobat over Goldbat? Sure. But preferring Swoobat over Crobat? No. The most obvious thing to say is that Swoobat is just not very strong. It's not good at all. Really not worth the friendship evolution. And then there's its signature move, Heart Stamp. Well, other Pokemon got it at later generations, but Generation 5, it's its signature move. 60 power with a flinch chance. Okay, not very good, but whatever. Except, Swoobat is a special attacker. Meanwhile, Heart Stamp, its signature move, is a physical attack! Game Freak, what were you thinking? Clearly they came to their senses, because it was one of the moves they got rid of in Gen 8. So, yeah, it's Swoobat. I think that this might just be the easiest Pokemon to prefer his counterpart over. Pokemon number 529. Drillbur. This adorable little mole is a fan favorite, and yeah, I do like him too. Other than design, I think the reason he's so popular is because he's real good and real easy to get early on. Like, really, all you gotta do is run around in a cave until a little dust cloud pops up, run into that dust cloud, and bam! He's the only encounter you can get in those dust clouds early game. Easy. And he may not be too strong, but when he evolves, oh boy. Alright, let's talk design. I do like how his claws, he can, like, just put, like, up above his face, and then he's basically looks like a drill. Real neat. Though, of course, with his evolution, that's a lot more pronounced. So, yeah, it's Drillbur. Sure, level 31 may seem like a bit of a tall task to ask for this little guy, but oh, it is worth it. Pokemon number 530. Excadrill. Oh my. Excadrill here is absolutely insane. So insane, it's like, really? He's that easy to get? Get an easy Drillbur in level of 31? Man. Ground Steel type, 135 attack? Oh, but you know, 88 speed, that's like, not the best, so he's balanced that way. One of his main abilities is Sand Rush, boosting his speed in sand. Sand also brings up his special defense, and also has, you know, non-Ground Rock Steel types taking damage, a little bit of damage every turn. Oh no! Also, he can learn Swords Dance. So yeah, it's Excadrill. I'm telling you, all he needs is just a little bit of setup, and then he'll drill right through your entire team. And then maybe next he'll drill right through you and your very soul. Pokemon number 531. Audino. Because Generation 5 is a soft reboot, Audino here is a Chansey replacement. Which may seem a little random at first, but then you realize, wait a minute, Gen 5 Nurse Joy is going to need a companion, so yeah, okay, we needed a Chansey replacement. And Audino here is infamous in a good way, because it's available on basically every single route in the game thanks to the rustling grass mechanic. And that's great because just like Chansey, it gives off a bunch of experience, so it's so easy to grind. In Generation 5, it's great. Audino's fantastic. And you know, I like it just fine, it's cute. You know, it ain't very strong, but its purpose ain't in battle. So yeah, it's Audino. Well, now that you've heard what I said, I don't know, what do you think? Don't look at me like that. Pokepark 2 made that pun. You've had over a decade to get used to it. Pokemon number 532. Timber. With Generation 5 being a soft reboot, Timber here is a Machop replacement. A 3-stage fighting type line, and the final stage evolves via trade. And I'm kind of mixed on Timber, you know, he's just fine, but like, I don't really think I prefer him over Machop, but like, I'm not like a big fan of Machop or anything, so it's like, yeah. I can see people having problems with the nose or the veins. Like, the nose I can definitely get over, and trust me, that's not always a guarantee with the nose. But the veins, yeah, I guess the veins maybe are a bit much. But, you know, I'm not super disturbed by them. So, yeah, it's Timber. I think we have a tie when it comes to old and new gen. At least for me, at least. Pokemon number 533. Girder. The Evolution 2 Timber is now carrying an entire metal beam instead of a simple piece of wood. And now his nose is even more pronounced. He's gone full clown, especially with that hair even, and like just really adding to it. And with those veins now being even more pronounced, it all just comes together and I'm just not the biggest fan. So then do I prefer Machoke? Again, not really the biggest fan of that line either, so it's like, Though I do gotta give Girder credit, whereas Machoke would definitely look weird without his belt, Girder here would not exactly look weird without his beam that he's carrying, because, you know, he's just simply carrying it. So, yeah, it's Girder. Does his Gen 1 counterpart eke out a win? Maybe, barely. Pokemon number 534. Conkeldurr. The final evolution to Timber is a real menace, an absolute scary powerhouse. The main thing, other than that 140 attack, is Guts. Think it's a good idea to try to cripple him with a status condition? Nope, Guts makes a status condition power him up even more. You know, I definitely think Conkeldurr here is like the poster child for Guts and a Flame Orb. When yes, I know, Machamp also has Guts, but like, Conkeldurr just, he feels like the one, you know? Like, it's odd. I feel a lot more scared going up against a Conkeldurr than a Machamp, even though Machamp is, like, still pretty dang good, and, again, has Guts, so it's like, So, yeah, it's Conkeldurr. I guess it goes to show you really don't need 4 arms to dish out that damage, you know? Pokemon number 535. Tympole. Finally back to original Pokemon without a Gen 1 counterpart. Tympole is an adorable little tadpole, and I do like him, he's cute. And he has this kind of music theme going on, because he's shaped like that comma music note thing. I don't know a thing about music, don't ask me. And along with shape, he just learns this new move called Round in Generation 5. Yes, I know a lot of Pokemon learn Round, but like, you know, he learns it right at level 9, he's shaped like a music note, so yeah. And you know, he may be a weak water type right now, but when he evolves, he becomes a water and ground type, and that's one of the best types in the game. So yeah, it's Tympole. Real cute, and I hear he evolves into a water and ground type. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what he evolves into! Why is there ominous music playing? Pokemon number 536. Palpitoad. Oh no. Tympole's evolution here goes downhill real fast. Like, Tympole, he had these things on his ears. They look like headphones, you know, continuing the music theme, and Palpitoad has that too. But he also has more of those things on his body, and now it's like, oh, they're supposed to look like warts. I'm not a fan of that at all. No, shout out to Palpitoad once again proving in the anime, no, they don't only give characters Pokemon that are marketable, because really? Ash gets a Palpitoad. Really? I mean, at least he gets that water and ground typing, though I kinda don't have a desire to ever use one. So yeah, it's Palpitoad. Honestly, he peaked in elementary school. How do you peak in elementary school? Pokemon number 537. Seismitoad. The final evolution to Tympole. Is he better looking than Palpitoad? I mean, now he has even more warts and even has a couple on his head to make it look like he has a butt face, so it's like, Well, okay, let's look at him gameplay-wise. 95 attack, I mean, yeah, that's fine. And then Swift Swim definitely helps with that 77 speed, so like, I guess. But like, I just never have the desire to use one, you know? Like, every other water and ground type, maybe not even stat-wise, but design-wise, definitely a lot better. So yeah, that's Seismitoad. Dang, Tympole. Really should have taken better care of your skin, because now as an adult you got warts all over your face and body. Pokemon number 538. Throw. Throw, and his counterpart, are Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan replacements, being, you know, just a fighting-type duo. And, man, I definitely prefer the Hitmons. Throw and his counterpart are the most severe perpetrators of a Pokemon wearing clothes. Like, he's just wearing a gi. Like, come on. Like, they're based off of Onis, which are humanoid shape. You know, they're red, and then his counterpart's blue, and they got that mask thing that has a little horn shape on it to represent the horn of the Oni, but like, you couldn't have done just a little bit more. Like, Throw, I want to say, is barely unpassable. His counterpart, though, oh, we'll get to him. So, yeah, that's Throw. You know, I'm not going to say they should have thrown the design in the trash. I'm going to say they should have thrown the design back on the design table for maybe one more round. Pokemon number 539. Sock. Alright, we've been through this many a times. I know what's going to happen in the comment section. Get it out of your system. Throw's counterpart here is even more just a guy wearing a robe. But, you know, I've already gone over I don't like him, so let's move on to gameplay. Sock and Throw are soft version exclusives, because yes, you can only find one depending on the game in the regular grass, but you can find the other one by hunting in rustling grass. Kinda like Plusle and Minun and Volbeat and Ilmaze back in Gen 3. Except Sock and Throw are absolutely so much easier to find than that 1% back in Gen 3. And with that 125 attack and 85 speed, I mean, yeah, he's usable, but like, So yeah, it's Sock. Man, I've been negative towards a lot of Pokemon in a row so far. I'm not a Gen 5 favorite, trust me. Black and White 2 is my favorite game. Pokemon number 540. Sewaddle. Okay, finally, I can be positive again. We're back to a Pokemon I like. I love Sewaddle. Absolutely adorable. And, oh wait a minute, this is the first bug type we've run into for Generation 5, so is this the regional bug? Gen 5 kinda just doesn't have a regional bug, interestingly enough. But it does have a lot of bugs. A lot of cool, strong bugs. But not a regional bug. It's interesting what they did this generation. And you know, to really hype up Sewaddle, it has 2 4x weaknesses, yet I would very much rather use it over the last several Pokemon we've talked about, honestly. So yeah, it's Sewaddle. He's just a little guy. Oh, also, for any of you worried about negativity from the past several videos, I looked ahead, and I'm not going to be negative towards any Pokemon for a while coming up. Pokemon number 541. Swadloon. The evolution to Sewaddle is all wrapped up in an adorable little leaf blanket, all cozy, and I absolutely love it. Though, unfortunately, it has a sad frowny face on it at all times. Maybe it finally grew up enough to realize it has 2 4x weaknesses. Though, I do unfortunately have to be fair and balanced, Swadloon is not the easiest Pokemon to use, considering, well, first you had to get it all the way to level 20 before you could evolve it into Swadloon, and then to evolve it out of Swadloon, you need Friendship. It's a Friendship evolution. Ugh. Friendship evolution's not fun most of the time. And again, with it having 2 4x weaknesses, those tanky stats don't mean nothing. So yeah, that's Swadloon. Well, if you're all cozy in a blanket but still have a frowny face, well, obviously that means you just need to add another blanket. Duh. Pokemon number 542. Leavanny. Sewaddle's final evolution here, surprise, is the first Waifumon of Gen 5. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say it is, especially if you consider some other mons from past generations' waifus. This one definitely counts. And Leavanny is absolutely fantastic. 103 attack, 92 speed, real decent, even though, again, still has 2 4x weaknesses. And Leavanny is just a sweet Pokemon, you know. It has Pokedex entries talking about how it helps out other Pokemon by making them leaf clothing to stay warm. Real nice. And it's definitely a strange and odd but pleasant surprise that Ash got one in the anime. So yeah, it's Leavanny, a Pokemon with very motherly energies. Now why did I say that word like that? You know how the interact can be with that specific word? I gotta be very careful, because I'm just talking objectively here. Pokemon number 543. Venipede. Immediately after Sewaddle, we have another bug type that evolves twice and can be found relatively early game. And yeah, I like Venipede too, he's great. Venipede here just really shows just how good Pokemon's design process is. Because in real life, I do not like bugs really at all, other than mods, they're neat. And Venipede here, he just looks like if he was realistic, or whatever he's based off of in real life, I would be terrified of. Oh my goodness, but, you know, he's a Pokemon. He's really nicely designed, maybe even kind of cute. I like him. So yeah, it's Venipede. Shout out to the designers for making something that probably looks very disturbing IRL look nice and approachable as a Pokemon. Pokemon number 544. Whirlipede. Venipede has evolved and now become a wheel. Why? I don't know, probably whatever he's based off of IRL has something to do with it. Well, obviously that's how design works. Now slightly off topic, Venipede and the Sewaddle lines, you know, being right next to each other, found in like the same location. It's like, so that's, you know, why Gen 5 doesn't really have an early game bug. Now hold on. Literally Gen 1 and 2 each have 2 early game bugs. So why can't Gen 5? Oops. I guess they do. I guess these are the early game bugs. I guess I just didn't recognize it because, well, you know, these 2 lines, Sewaddle and Venipede, are actually good. So yeah, it's Whirlipede. Oh, I didn't even say what I think about him. He's fine. Pokemon number 545. Scolipede. Venipede's final evolution is absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love Scolipede. 100 attack, 112 speed. Oh, an absolute monster. And evolving from Whirlipede at level 30? A nice, reasonable level! Out of character for Pokemon. Especially Generation 5. And it also helps that just since we're now, you know, enough generations in, we finally have good, physical, strong bug-type and poison-type moves. X-Scissor and Poison Jab. Absolute classics. So, yeah, it's Scolipede. You know, arachnophobia. Phobia means to an unnecessary fear, or something around that lines. No, I don't think it's unnecessary to fear this bug. He'll absolutely destroy you. Pokemon number 546. Cottony. Here we have a neat little cotton ball grass-type Pokemon. Yeah, I like Cottony, it's cute. Alright, but what is Cottony a Gen 1 replacement of? My brother in Christ, not every Generation 5 Pokemon is a replacement to a Gen 1 Pokemon. Some of the new Pokemon here are just new Pokemon. Well, you know, unless you want to go, oh, you know, 2-stager, evolves via Sunstone, it's a Sunkern replacement. Sunkern's a Gen 2 Pokemon. Now, Cottony is kind of interesting because immediately next generation it goes and gets the Fairy typing. Just immediate retcon, no room to breathe.
Also, shout out to me shining hunting one in Gen 8 and it taking longer to get than the starters or the pseudo in Gen 8. Yeah. So, yeah, that's Cottony. It's just Cottony. Don't look too deep into it. Pokemon number 547. Whimsicott. The evolution to Cottony here may not look it, but it is a menace to be feared in competitive play. Because Whimsicott here gets Prankster, a fantastic hidden ability that makes non-damaging moves always go first, have high priority, as it's said in the game. The main move Whimsicott is known for is Tailwind, because it can learn it naturally via level up move. And yeah, Tailwind doubling your side's speed, absolutely fantastic. It's even better in Gen 8 and onwards, now that speed is actively updated every time something happens, instead of just updating at the end of every turn. And not to mention, it just gets the Fairy type in Gen 6, and Fairy is just a good type. So yeah, it's Whimsicott. Dang, already good in Gen 5, buffed in Gen 6, buffed in Gen 8. Game Freak do be crazy for this Pokemon, that's for sure. Pokemon number 548. Petlil. The counterpart of Cottony, because they're version exclusive. And I do like Petlil, it's real cute. But sadly it is very overshadowed just from the fact that Whimsicott is so competitively well viable and such, so it's just like, dang, not even a chance. It also doesn't help that it's a pure grass type, and that's just not the best, not for coverage, not for defending, just not the best at all. But like, should Petlil have also gotten the Fairy type in Gen 6? I mean, honestly, Fairies and Grass just like go together real well, so like, there's a lot of Grass types that I wouldn't bat an eye at if they would have gotten the Fairy typing, Game Freak just had to make their decision. So yeah, it's Petlil. Classic case of overshadowing by its counterpart, which is very sad to see because Petlil is real cute. Pokemon number 549. Lilligant. Wait a minute. Why do I have a Lilligant plush of all Pokemon? Well, that's because we finally made it to my favorite Pokemon of all time. Lilligant here has just always been getting the short end of the stick. Its version exclusive, soft version exclusive counterpart Whimsicott is so good and competitively viable, whereas Lilligant is just a pure grass type. Not very good, not too much good coverage or anything, really. Though, own tempo and pedal dance when it's not resisted, real good. And Roserade was my favorite Pokemon for a while, and then I noticed Lilligant, and it's like, Lilligant's kind of like the Gen 5 replacement of Roserade, but Roserade's far more popular, and it's just like, Lilligant's just here and all sad, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Sure, Lilligant, you can be my favorite Pokemon. And when Lilligant finally does get some love, it gets an alternate form, and then everyone's hyping up that alternate form instead. I do like its alternate form. I do like its Hisui form, though. That signature move is insane. But base Lilligant here, my favorite. And Lilymon's my favorite Digimon, so that might help explain things too. And honestly, Lilligant here is just like helping show the duality of man, because like, here you have my favorite Pokemon, this girly little flower, and then moving over a few slots, my favorite legendary is literal Satan himself. So yeah, it's Lilligant. What can I say? Pretty little flower girl, and I felt sorry for her, so I just had to prop her up myself. Pokemon number 550. Basculin. As the story goes, Game Freak was like, we're kind of lacking on water types this generation, so we need like at least one more. I know, let's take this fish we've already designed and give him a slightly different color, and bam! Version exclusives! New fish! Yay! Is that story true? I don't know. Yeah, Basculin's kind of just been known for being such a basic, forgettable fish for the longest time. And then it got a really cool evolution. And now I like him because I love that evolution. But okay, forget that evolution. Let's look at Basculin himself. I mean, 92 attack isn't the worst thing ever, but like, again, just a one-stage basic fish. So yeah, it's Basculin. Classic story. Basic Mon I'm meh on, gets a cool evolution, and now I like the basic Mon because, it leads into something even better. Pokemon number 551. Sandile. Here we have this adorable little sand crocodile. Though don't let his looks fool you, he may be cute, but he will bite you. He is a crocodile. And yeah, I do like Sandile, he's neat. And I do love how in the latest game, they have him swimming around in the sand with only his eyes just popping up out of the sand. Fantastic, definitely gives him some nice personality. Though, to be fair and balanced, you need to get this little baby to level 29 to evolve. Oof. Gen 5 is finally starting to show its hand with those evolution levels. So yeah, it's Sandile. Honestly, it's the perfect setup. He'll be waddling on over to you all cute, and you'll let your guard down by how cute he is, and then when he's finally close enough, bite ya. Pokemon number 552. Krokorok. The evolution to Sandile is now all cool with his crossed arms. I can't really, I'm using my other hand to pull the phone, so... Of course, Krokorok, and the entire Sandile line in general, I guess, is known for Ash getting one in the anime and it being an entire process of Ash getting it. And there's a lot to complain about for the Gen 5 anime, but I think this is a storyline that people do like, and yeah, I liked it. It was a good storyline. Though, it's kind of funny how, the Sandile line is designed kind of to look like they maybe sort of have sunglasses, but then the anime, they actually gave Ash's Sandile a pair of sunglasses, so, it's like the whole meme of wearing a pair of sunglasses, take it off, you're wearing another pair of sunglasses underneath. So, yeah, it's Krokorok. A very cool evolution that wears basically double sunglasses in the anime. Pokemon number 553. Crocodile. Sandile's final evolution here randomly turns red. I don't know, probably something to do with whatever he's based off of IRL. And Crocodile is pretty dang good. 117 attack and 92 speed? Yeah, pretty good. And Stab, Earthquake, and Crunch being fantastic things to have. Of course, Crocodile's most known for one of his main abilities, Moxie. Ooh, fantastic. You just gotta get one KO, maybe even a revenge KO, and then he's steamrolling. When Gen 9 first came out, the best money-making method was just to do the post-game tournament and have Crocodile sweep with Moxie. So, yeah, it's Crocodile. Okay, so, follow me. Crocodile is a Dark type, so evil type in Japan. And he can use Moxie to Steamroll. Steamroller. Roller. Yep, somehow fit a JoJo reference in this video. Pokemon number 554. Darumaka. Here we have this cute little fire type based off of, well, it's in the name, Daruma dolls. Now, what are Daruma dolls? You're gonna need to look up a longer video than this, I only got a minute. Yeah, I do like Darumaka, he is cute. I love how he's just dancing back and forth as his idle animation for his 3D model. Real cute. Now, Darumaka takes to level 35 to evolve, which is pretty wild. You gotta keep this baby around for a long time. However, this baby has 90 attack, so yeah, he's actually kinda usable until you finally get to evolve him. Also, there's a Pokedex entry talking about how people back in the day used to use Darumaka's droppings as heat warmer in their clothing. Game Freak, I don't want to think about that kind of realistic stuff with these fun fantasy creatures. Stop. So, yeah, it's Darumaka. Look at this fun, happy guy. Don't read the Pokedex. Look at him go! Pokemon number 555. Darmanitan. Darumaka's evolution here, is real well known for being a powerhouse. And with those big old fists, you might think it's part fighting type. Nope, it is pure fire. Now, normally with these kinds of Pokemon, you're like, Game Freak, why didn't you just give it the second typing? But this time, I think they did that on purpose to make sure he doesn't have a second stat, because he's already strong enough. 140 attack, 90 speed. Oh. Of course, Darmanitan is also really well known for its fancy hidden ability Zen mode, that when it hits half health, switches it to a fire and psychic type, and switches his attack and special attack, and such. Though I hear Zen mode isn't really the best, and I guess I can see it, because if you're trying to prepare for both a physical and special set, your 4 move slots fill up real quick. So, yeah, it's Darmanitan. He kind of doesn't even need stab. He'll punch you and it will still hurt. Pokemon number 556. Maractus. Here we have another Cactus Pokemon. Haven't got one of those since Gen 3 and Cacturn. And Maractus here definitely looks a lot more feminine than Cacturn. Now, are we going to call Maractus a waifumon? I don't know, I think you're stretching it. Of course, Maractus is most well known for being a forgettable Pokemon. Maractus is always showing up on top 10 most forgettable Pokemon lists, but you remember it for being forgettable. So you haven't forgotten it. So if you would have forgotten it, it wouldn't have been on the list. The classic paradox. I like Maractus, it's cute. Not very strong, just a single stage grass type, but, So, yeah, it's Maractus. Yeah, I know, you can just look up a list of Pokemon and pick out the ones you're like, oh yeah, that's a thing for the most forgettable list. But I'm gonna go on a limb and say you remember Maractus for being forgettable. Pokemon number 557. Dwebble. Here we have a cute little hermit crab that uses a hollowed out rock as its shell, and therefore it's part rock type. Neat idea. And yeah, I like Dwebble, it's cute. Though, oof, level 34 to evolve, and he's a first stage tank? Ugh. In case you're new here, hi, welcome. I've talked about first stage tanks before, and how they're just so difficult to raise, because they don't have the, enough stats to survive anything, because they're a first stage, and of course because they're a tank, they don't have high attack, so they can't hit anything, so they're literally useless until they evolve. Though, Dwebble does have 85 defense, so maybe he'll survive a hit or two. So, yeah, it's doable. You know, he's been living under a rock his entire life, so I'll forgive him for not knowing first stage tanks aren't very good. Pokemon number 558. Crustle. Dwebel's evolution here, is an absolutely fantastic tank. 125 defense, and even that 75 special defense, yeah, pretty good. And his Bug Rock typing. I mean, Bug and Rock are considered, weak types alone, but together these two weak types are actually pretty dang good. And that attack of 95 ain't anything to scoff at either, especially with Shell Smash. Ooh. Shell Smash being a move introduced this generation, and sure, a lot of Pokemon can learn it, but Crustle's kind of like the Shell Smash guy, Being able to just drop your defense by a little bit while highly raising your attack and speed, yeah, Crustle definitely likes that. So yeah, it's Crustle. First, he smashes his Rock Shell into 1 billion pieces, and then he smashes you into 1 billion pieces. Pokemon number 559. Scraggy. Here we have this little delinquent lizard that just is sagging his pants skin and just has to keep pulling it up because they keep falling down. Definitely an interesting, unique idea. And thanks to that Terra leak, we now know that they kind of designed Scraggy all the way back in Gen 3, scrapped it, and then brought it back for Gen 5. Glad they did. Of course, Scraggy is most well known for Ash getting one in the anime via hatching an egg. I think it was an egg. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen the Gen 5 anime. And thanks to Scraggy just being a delinquent, he has this really fun personality of trying his darndest to be intimidating, an intimidating delinquent, but just isn't. So, yeah, that's Scraggy. Come on, man. You gotta get a belt. Maybe you can talk to Machoke and he can help you out. Pokemon number 560. Scrafty. Scraggy's evolution here definitely isn't as popular thanks to, just Ash's not evolving. Well, okay, that's just popular culture. What about the games? Well, I mean, Dark and Fighting is pretty decent. In Gen 5, when he's introduced. 1 gen later, he gets a 4x weakness. Oh, but that's fine. He's probably a speedy attacker glass cannon, so that 4x weakness doesn't even matter. No, his 2 highest stats are his 2 defenses, so oof. Classic Game Freak giving a tank a 4x weakness, even though that weakness is retroactively added in the next generation. So, yeah, that's Scrafty. I mean, I like him just fine, but definitely gotten the short end of the stick in more ways than one. Hey, maybe that's why he's lashing out at society. Pokemon number 561. Sigilith. Alright. If you thought Sigilith had some sort of connection to the unknown, like an evolution or alternate form or something, raise your hand. If you're a kid when Black and White came out and aren't raising your hand, I don't believe you. Sigilith is quite the strange Pokemon, this odd psychic type, just that you can just find flying around ruins. He kind of looks like a, cave painting brought to life, probably what he was based off of, really. And I like Sigilith, he's neat. Never really used one, mainly because I thought he was a tank, and I'm not really a tank user, but no, his highest stats are his special attack and speed, so might have to use one of these days. So, yeah, it's Sigilith. I mean, come on, his head literally looks like an unknown, and he's a psychic type found in ruins, Game Freak, if anything, you're purposefully misleading children and confusing them. Pokemon number 562. Yamask. Here we have this cute little ghost type carrying around a neat little mask. I wonder what that's all about. That was its face, when it was alive, as a human being. Oh. Well. Guess I'd earned that ghost typing. Not by being dead, but by being spooky. Well, alright, let's look at gameplay. It's a first stage tank and evolves at level 34. That might be even more scary. So, yeah, that's Yamask. A spooky ghost type in more ways than one. Nice. Pokemon number 563. Cofagrigus. I gotta be careful saying his name, because there is literally a slur in the middle of his name. And since Generation 5 was the first generation they started censoring out swear words and such for Pokemon nicknames, this guy's base name here just, gave multiple problems with the new system. Well, alright, meta out of the way, Cofagrigus is pretty neat. A neat-looking coffin with some spooky ghost arms coming out of him. Cool. Especially his walk animation. Very creepy. And stats-wise, of course he's a tank, but also 95 special attack? Pretty good. Though his signature ability, Mummy, is also pretty notable. Come into physical contact with Cofagrigus, and nope, you don't got an ability no more. So yeah, it's Cofagrigus. Very neat mon, but be very careful saying his name. Pokemon number 564. Tortuga. Our first fossil Pokemon of Generation 5. And Tortuga is notable for, once again, there being an older, scrapped Mon that looks a lot like Tortuga, that it just seems like they brought back. That's now 3 Pokemon, in Generation 5 specifically, that we've seen have had been scrapped in the past but brought back. And with Generation 5 being a soft reboot, yeah, kind of fitting to bring back some scrapped Mons for this event. Well, alright, let's talk about Tortuga in the games. Let's see here. First stage tank, a 4x weakness, well, level 37. I mean, I have used one before, but oof. So, yeah, it's Tortuga. You know, with him being a fossil, being revived from the past, but also being a scrap design revived from the past, yeah, that's a double revive. Pokemon number 565. Caracosta. Caracosta, whatever. Tortuga's evolution here is still a tank with a 4x weakness. Classic Game Freak, why do you keep doing this? Though, you know, I like Caracosta, he's neat. That 108 attack, yeah, stab waterfall's pretty good. And 133 defense, yeah, he can take a hit that isn't grass. And you know, he has Sturdy, of course updated this generation to survive 1 hit at full HP. Though his other ability, Solid Rock, is nothing to scoff at either, reducing the effectiveness of super effective moves. Yeah, with that 4x grass weakness, actually pretty dang useful. So yeah, it's Caracosta. Well, okay, fine. If we want to get technical, with Solid Rock, grass isn't a 4x weakness, it's a 3.5? 2? I don't know. Pokemon number 566. Orchid. The other fossil is a cute little flightless bird that's just trying its darndest to fly. Love him. Though unfortunately, his ability, Defeatist, is meant to nerf his evolution. But then to put a nerfing ability on a first stage Mon? Oof. So funny enough, your choice doesn't matter. Both fossil first stages are hard to train this generation. At least Arshin doesn't have a 4x weakness. And I mean, I guess on a purely technical level, 112 in attack, yeah, that's pretty good on a first stage. So yeah, it's Orchid. The sins of his father are literally holding him down. Pokemon number 567. Archeops. Archeops, whatever. Orchid's evolution here is an absolute monster with 140 attack and 110 speed. Oof. But of course, as we've discussed previously, his ability. I never even explained what his ability does. When you hit at half HP, his attack is cut in half. And I feel like I've been Mandela affected, because I could have sworn it was attack and speed, but nope, it is just attack and special attack. Yes, I know the obvious answer is you were thinking of Regigigas and got that mixed up. I mean, I guess there was a lot of Pokemon, so. But why does he need to have a big high attack stat, but then an ability to nerf him? Well, because his base stats need to add up to match his dex number, because that's also the same number that's given to feathered dinosaurs, so Game Freak's just like, everything adds up, we need to make this work. So yeah, it's Archeops. The length Game Freak went to just to get this number to work. Crazy. Pokemon number 568. Trubbish. Ah yes, it's the trash Pokemon. This design is trash. Literally. Bro, I remember back in the day, people hated on this design so much. I mean, to be fair, the trash joke writes itself, like I just showed. And you know, I was definitely in the trenches back in the day defending this guy. Though of course not actually posting anything online, I was way too internet illiterate during Black and White. But hey, now that I'm actually know how to post things to the internet, I can get my defense right here. And you know, I already kind of started setting this up all the way back in the Grimer video. Basically, since this is a Grimer replacement, looking at Grimer, he's just one simple color, a pile of sludge. Whereas Trubbish, he has a lot more going on with his design. And that's about it. So yeah, it's Trubbish. A joke that writes itself. Just because it doesn't mean it's true. Pokemon number 569. Nice. Garbodor. Trubbish's evolution here is a big old pile of garbage. Yeah, very fitting to have him in an American region. And again, back to defending him back in the day, Muck is just a bigger Grimer, and again, still a singular color big pile of sludge, where Garbodor, again, more going on with the design. He's more interesting looking. And that's my defense. Oh, I haven't even talked about gameplay-wise. Let's see, he is 82 defenses, 80 HP, 95 attack. I mean, maybe he can be decent, I don't know. So yeah, it's Garbodor. You know, maybe the reason Americans got so mad at this guy is because he represented a hard truth they didn't want to accept. Pokemon number 570. Zorua. Zorua is real comparable to Riolu, basically the baby form to what's essentially the mascot of the generation. You know, one of the first mons shown for this generation and a fan favorite. And Zorua is absolutely adorable, a cute little trickster fox with a fancy illusion ability where he can change his appearance. I absolutely love him. I definitely think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone, even a Gen 5 hater, that's like, I don't like Zorua. You know, foxes are just adorable. Though I gotta say, really sucks you can't get one in Black and White 1 without a now long-gone event from a previous game. Very happy they gave you a free one in Black and White 2. So yeah, Zorua. Very cute, very infamously rare in his first outing. Pokemon number 571. Zoroark. Zoro's evolution here is, like I said, a fan favorite, and basically the mascot Generation 5 being one of the first mons they showed for this generation, and then got his own movie in Generation 4 right before Generation 5 came out. Yeah, he got a lot. And yeah, I do really like him as well. He is really cool. And you know, even like Generation 5 haters are like, Zoroark's pretty dang good. But that's also something they can maybe even use against Generation 5. Oh, Zoroark is Generation clickbait. It was one of the first mons they showed, and that made us think, oh, every mon's gonna be this well designed, and then we get the games and they're not, and now we're upset. And as silly as that sounds, you know, there's a tiny bit of truth in there, mainly the clickbait angle, because you can't get Zoroark in Black and White 1 without a fancy event that's now gone. So yeah, it's Zoroark. A mon so good, haters could even use it as ammunition against the rest. Pokemon number 572. Minccino. Here we have this adorable little chinchilla Pokemon that uses its tail as a little sweeper to clean things. Adorable, love it. Shout out to Minccino for being the first Pokemon you see in Black and White when the professor, you know, is doing their intro spiel. And then in Black and White 2, it's evolved, so that's a neat detail. You know, with the games being a sequel set a couple years later. And oddly enough, Minccino evolves via Shiny Stone, which feels kind of random, because, you know, the other Shiny Stone evolvers are, you know, a bunch of flowers and fairies, and now there's this chinchilla. Okay. So, yeah, it's Minccino. I mean, could you make an argument that it's actually the mascot of Generation 5 because it's the first mon you see in-game? I mean, it does have Pikachu-like qualities without being the Pikachu clone. Pokemon number 573. Cinccino. Minccino's evolution here is just kind of a slightly bigger Minccino with a bit more going on. And I mean, I already like Minccino, so yeah, great. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And as cute as Cinccino may seem, it actually has the chance to be very dangerous, thanks to its hidden ability that you get for free in Black and White 2, Skill Link. Basically, this ability guarantees 2 to 5 hit moves to always hit 5 times. You know, like Bullet Seed and such. And Cinccino even has a signature 2 to 5 hit move. Well, in Generation 5, and even then you can breed it down, but by level up in Gen 5, only Minccino Cinccino can learn Tail Slap. Though it has 85 accuracy, which sucks, but it has Stab, whereas Bullet Seed, 100% accuracy, no Stab. So they actually kind of balanced it. So yeah, it's Cinccino. Don't let the cute look fool you. It'll slap you silly the next week. Pokemon number 574. Gothita. Ah yes, the Goth baby. Definitely taken from the Smoochum line of logic when it comes to design, and yeah, just like Smoochum, not a fan of Gothita. What can I say? It looks ugly, and I'm allowed to be superficial when it comes to fantasy creature designs. And it certainly doesn't help that it can easily be compared to Ralts, a much better mon, especially because Gothita here takes until level 32 to evolve. Oh boy, we've finally started making it into the bad evolution levels of Generation 5. So yeah, it's Gothita. Obviously, in real life, you don't want to be calling someone's actual baby ugly. It's rude, it's uncalled for, it's unnecessary. But I can call this fictional creature baby ugly all I like. Pokemon number 575. Gothorita. Alright, seems being goth wasn't just a phase for that baby. Seems they're committing to the bit. Gothorita definitely looks a lot better. I do like it just fine, you know, it's fine. But Gothorita over Kirlia? Oh, probably not. But ooh, that evolution level. Now 41 to get it to its final stage. Oh, that's horrible. And here's the thing. Its stats are very similar to middle stage starter stats, which, you know, evolve at level 36 usually. A nice 5 levels lower. Oh hey, I haven't even mentioned that they're the next waifu mons yet. I didn't say anything with Gothita, because some people might take that the wrong way, calling that baby a waifu, but like, I'm just talking objectively here. They're waifu mons, that's objective. So yeah, it's Gothorita. Let's see, being goth wasn't a phase? Okay. That high evolution level wasn't a phase. Ooh. Pokemon number 576. Gothitelle. The final evolution to this entire new Psychic Waifumon line. Yeah, definitely prefer Gardevoir, though I don't hate Gothitelle. Though, interestingly, not only is it outshadowed by its old-gen counterpart, it's also outshadowed by its current-gen counterpart. I didn't even mention it's a version exclusive, and the other version, Mon, yeah, I definitely think that's a lot more popular than Gothitelle. But to talk positively, one of its abilities, competitive, is really dang good. Whenever it gets any stat lowered, it gets a +2 to special attack, so don't accidentally send out an Intimidator on it, or else it'll do less than nothing, it'll boost it. So yeah, it's Gothitelle. Dang, double outshadowed. That's gotta hurt. Don't worry, Gothitelle. The internet's will really come around to Goth Girls, you should be fine. Pokemon number 577. Solosis. Here we have the version-exclusive counterpart for the Gothita line. And it is literally just a singular cell. Yet, it's definitely a lot more popular, a lot more liked than Gothita. Yeah, that definitely says something. Now, Solosis does have the same high bad evolution level as Gothita, but for a first stage, it has 105 special attack. So, oh, okay. Sure, it may have low speed and defenses, but it might be able to get ahead in and do some damage. So, yeah, Solosis. Okay, fine. It's not one cell, it's 1.5 cells. Its design is literally it in the process of dividing. You'll have to excuse me, science was my weakest subject in school. Pokemon number 578. Duosion. Solosis' evolution here has divided, and man, that's a pretty uneven divide. Like, just look at the little thing on top compared to the rest of the other cell. Yeah, it's pretty unfair. I'm sure some smart scientist guy can be like, this shows signs of this illness by having one cell bigger than the other when they divide. I don't know. Now, fun fact, Duosion's special attack and speed are the exact same as its final evolution, being at 125 and 30. So continuing on the trend with Solosis, Duosion here, even though it has a high evolution level, can definitely keep up. Until it finally evolves. So yeah, it's Duosion. You know, with his cells having divided so unevenly, I gotta ask, Doctor, how long does he have to live? Pokemon number 579. Reuniclus. Reuniclus, right? Get over here, Pokers 3D Pro.
Reuniclus!
Yeah, sounds about right. Solosis' final evolution here, as we already discussed with Duosion because it has the similar stats, has super high special attack and super low speed, so he's a fantastic user of Trick Room. Or I guess beneficiary of Trick Room, because you would want a Fastmon to go first to use Trick Room. Especially in Gen 8 onwards when speed is calculated dynamically. And yeah, I do like Reuniclus. He looks really neat, a really cool looking mon. And like I mentioned with Gothitelle, yeah, he's definitely a lot more popular. And yeah, I like him more as well. So yeah, it's Reuniclus. Oh, thank goodness for Pokédex 3D Pro. Wait, that only goes up to Gen 5. Ooh, I'm gonna be in trouble after that. Pokemon number 580. Ducklet. Shout out to the Ducklet rap. If you know, you know. Ducklet is a cute little duck, based off the Ugly Duckling story, because, spoiler alert, it does evolve into a swan. But honestly, this isn't even really a good execution of the story, because, well, Ducklet ain't ugly at all, it's real cute. Feebas to Milotic is a lot closer to that story than the actual Duck to Swan Pokemon, ironically enough. Of course, Ducklet is well known for being the literally only Pokemon you can get on those fancy bridges around the Unova region. Though, unfortunately, it's not very good. And you might think, well, it's not very good because you can get it so easy, but like, no, Drillbur you can get so easily, and Extra Drill's insane. So yeah, it's Ducklet. You know what I can compare Ducklet to? When they cast an attractive actor into a role that's supposed to be an ugly nerd that nobody likes. Except they're not. Pokemon number 581. Swanna. Ducklet's evolution here, as I spoiled with Ducklet, is, yep, evolved into a beautiful swan. Though, ironically enough, I think that swan is actually not very popular, and a lot of people don't like its design and don't think it looks beautiful. Though, you know, the comment section's proved me wrong before on me guessing what the community thinks. Let me tell you, years of growing up with people hating on Generation 5 has clouded my vision. And for me, I'm just fine with Swanna, personally. Though objectively, it's not good at all. A 4x weakness takes a level 35 to evolve, and none of its stats reach 100. Ugh. Also, none of its abilities save it, so big oof all around. So yeah, that's Swanna. Did Swanna fulfill the story and become a beautiful swan? I don't know. The community and their thoughts are an enigma. Pokemon number 582. Vanillite. Oh, here we are. The ice cream cone Pokemon. The face of Generation 5 hate. Back in my day, people were so viscerally upset at this Pokemon.
Oh man, Game Freak is so lazy. They're so out of ideas. Even though they hadn't made a T-Rex or a dolphin Pokemon yet. They have now, but as of Gen 5. And of course the defense went something like something something the culture. It represents the ice cream in the city, something something. I only got a minute here. There's great YouTube videos on that. And, you know, I like Vanillite just fine. He's a cute little guy, though a pure weak little ice type and takes level 35 to evolve. Oh. So yeah, it's Vanillite. Oh, you kids don't understand how good you have it with most of the community rallying around Gen 5 being good. Back in the day, this was the face used on anti-Gen 5 propaganda. Pokemon number 583. Vanillish. While Vanillite just had so much blind hatred thrown at it, I've actually heard some legit decent criticism towards Vanillish. The criticism goes as follows. Vanillish is just a bit of a bigger Vanillite. It would have just been better if Vanillite just went right to its final stage and skipped this unnecessary feeling middle stage. And, I mean, I guess I can see it, you know. I'm a big Gen 5 fan, but I'm not like the hugest fan of the Vanillish line, so yeah, okay. And continuing talking about the design, of course the designer of this whole line is now the very well-known James Turner, who's gone on to have a very high role in Game Freak when it comes to the design department. And I'm very happy they let him continue to cook instead of listening to the haters, because he later designed a Poison Dragon type that I love. So yeah, it's Vanillish. Unnecessary? Maybe a little-ish. Pokemon number 584. Vanillux. Vanillite's final evolution here is a deluxe double scoop, as the name implies and the design shows. And continuing on the legit Vanillish criticism, I guess I can see if they made Vanillite just a bit bigger, maybe they could have had it go right into this. Maybe. And while I'm just fine with it design-wise, gameplay, oh no. Level 47 to evolve. Oh. 2 levels higher than Metagross. Is that as good as Metagross? No. Like 110 attack and that 79 speed isn't the worst thing ever, but it's a pure ice type and it really does not have very good coverage, so yeah. So yes, Vanillux. Does the double scoop maybe represent American portion sizes? I mean, maybe. There's probably a theory there somewhere. Pokemon number 585. Deerling. Here we have this adorable little deer Pokemon that has a really neat gimmick of changing its appearance based on the season, because there's seasons in Generation 5. Of course, it just changes its appearance. No changes to types or stats. And, you know, I'm sure that it's a really fun experience to just have a Deerling on your team, and then just to play through the game nice and slowly, so maybe it takes like 2 or 3 months to get through it, and you see it changing. But, you know, for most of us that, like, play through a new Pokemon game within a week, yeah, that doesn't really, work too well. Not even gonna get into adjusting your clock to do date skipping and such. So yeah, it's Deerling. A cute little Pokemon with a neat little idea that, unfortunately, from the way that most of us play these games, didn't really come off as what they wanted. Pokemon number 586. Sawsbuck. Deerling's evolution here continues on the whole season gimmick by having even more noticeable things, as in the foliage on its horns changing throughout the seasons. And yeah, I do like Sawsbuck. He is pretty neat. And he's actually pretty decent in the games. Nothing high tier competitive, but a nice 100 attack, 95 speed, and he even has a signature move in Generation 5. Other mons get it in other generations, but Gen 5, only Sawsbuck gets Horn Leech, a physical Giga Drain. And he has some good abilities too, like Sap Sipper. Figure out how to get him to switch into a grass-type move, and bam, his attack goes up, Horn Leech does and heals even more. And his hidden ability, Serene Grace, oh, that's a good ability. So yeah, it's Sawsbuck. You don't want this deer hopping out in front of your car, because he'll fight back and might even win. Pokemon number 587. Emolga. And here we have the Pikachu clone for Generation 5. The replacement for Pikachu, because that's how Generation 5 works. Except there's literally been a Pikachu clone in like every other generation, so yeah. Now, I do really like Emolga. It's real adorable, especially in the anime. Just so cute. And its type, a dual electric flying type. Oh, now that's a good type. And thanks to that typing, even though it really isn't the strongest ever when it comes to stats, it's still kind of decent. Certainly knows how to trip you up in the electric gym. And Emolga is even set a standard, because afterwards, every single Pikachu clone is going to have a dual typing, which is great. So yeah, it's Emolga. You know, it's so hard to objectively talk, oh, it's not very good, because it's just so cute. Pokemon number 588. Carablast. Here we have this little bug thing, and I don't think he has any past-gen counterpart he's trying to replace. So, yeah, I think he's just
is a unique concept. Of course, Karrablast is most well known for him and his counterpart and how they interact and evolve. Basically, with Karrablast, you need to trade it with a specific other Pokemon in order to evolve. And that is a really neat idea. That was kind of awkward for the canonicity of this series because we haven't made it to that other Pokemon yet, so I don't know who we were talking about. And it's extra strange because we ain't gonna get to that Pokemon for a while. They are far apart in the Pokedex for some reason. So, yeah, it's Karrablast. Oh, I haven't even talked about his design. He's just a fine little guy. Pokemon number 589. Escavalier. Wait, Karrablast, where'd you get that armor from? He got it from that other Pokemon you have to trade with in order to evolve. He takes that Pokemon's armor to evolve. Such a cool idea, I really like this. Though unfortunately, Escavalier isn't too good, considering it has a nice 4 times weakness to fire, and it only has 20 speed. That bug is cooked. And talking about its speed, of course there's that classic meme where the Pokedex literally talks about it being able to go across lands at high speeds, when it only has 20 speed. Though, you know, this Pokedex entry might be a remnant from the beta, because if I remember from the Terra leak, this cross-evolution thing wasn't planned from the beginning, it was a later change they added, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's Escavalier. See kids, now this is why you don't steal someone else's armor, because then you become slow as molasses and 4 times weak to fire. I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. A few days ago, I released a review on the Pokemon Escavalier, in which I said it was probably not very good with its 4 times weakness to fire and 20 speed. Hitfall, by the way, we're in the middle of Gen 5 and going strong. However, after releasing the video, many comments informed me that Escavalier was literally on a World Champions team and won the World Championships one year. I had tunnel vision. I was solely focused on the funny meme about the Pokedex saying he was fast when he wasn't, and that 4 times weakness, and I didn't stop and look at his other stats and think, you know, these are actually pretty good. Maybe in Trick Room he would be pretty dang good. Or maybe against anything that isn't a fire type he would be pretty dang good. And for this, I do apologize. I especially apologize because it will happen again. I don't exactly scroll a Pokemon's Bubblepedia page before making a review on it, unless I want to double check a fact that I already know. I like just going off the top of my head and seeing what I can say about this or that Pokemon. So I will miss things again. I will be taking a break of 1 day to reflect on my actions and hopefully improve as a person. And hopefully you'll still be here when I return. No, stop it. This is serious. You called a good Pokemon bad in your TikTok review series. I'm very, very sorry. Pokemon number 590. Fungus. Don't make the obvious joke, don't make the obvious joke, don't make the obvious joke. Fungus is the Voltorb replacement for Generation 5. A little mushroom that hides in the grass and the top of its head looks like a Pokeball, so you go to grab it and nope, you're poisoned now or something, I think. And suspiciously, Gen 5 haters don't really like to bring up Fungus, because he is very much better designed than Voltorb, who's just a Pokeball. Don't get me wrong, I like Voltorb, but Fungus is just objectively has more going on with his design. Oh, I have to talk about it. And he has a very strange connection to a certain indie game that popped off during 2020. Like, you can easily make Fungus or his evolution look like a character from that game. There's the classic saying, the fungus among us. And just, like, the name of the evolution is just too perfect. So, yeah, it's Fungus. Bum 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 bum. Pokemon number 591. Among Us. Fungus's evolution here is, like, extra famous. Like, first off, its connection to that indie game is just like, its name is so similar. There is that saying, the fungus among us. Is that just a saying, or is that like some horror B-movie from the 20th century? I really don't know. But also, it was already famous before that because it's real dang good in competitive play. It's just a really good tank that can Toxic you or Spore 100% accurate sleep. So good. Also has the fantastic Clear Smog move. Oh, I'll just set up to one-shot this tank. Nope, your stat changes are gone. And its hidden ability Regenerator heals 1/3 health every time it switches out. Jeez. So yeah, it's Among Us. It had already become famous based on its merits alone, but then those sussy memes came around and shot its fame up to the stratosphere. Pokemon number 592. Frillish. Here we have this cute little water ghost jellyfish thing. Real neat, I do like him. And, it just has a very basic gender difference, blue for the male, pink for the female, nothing too crazy. Though, oof, it's a first stage tank and takes till level 40 to evolve. Not a fun time. And shout out to its hidden ability, Damp, which makes it immune to self-destruct and explosion, which are both normal type moves, and it's a ghost type. Huh. No wait, I gotta use hidden ability Alolan Golem. It's immune to his electric type explosion. Congratulations. Your ability makes you immune to one Mon's one attack. So yeah, it's Frillish. Cute but difficult to train up. Is it worth it? I don't know, I'm not really a tank user.
Pokemon number 593. Jellicent.
Pringles man looking at... Well, for the male. The female has a slightly different design, with a little heart-shaped mouth instead. And I guess I like Jellicent just fine, I'm not really a tank user, so... And Jellicent's a pretty decent tank. Water and ghost type, high HP and special defense, yeah. And one of its regular abilities, we already went over its hidden ability, Cursed Body, real good. Just any time you try to hit this tank with an attack, there's a 30% chance that move will become disabled and you won't be able to use it again for a while. And it's kind of a soft exclusive ability because other Pokemon only get it via hidden ability. In Gen 5, they give it to other Pokemon later on, like Gengar to nerf him. So yeah, it's Jellicent. You better hope that Nuke one-shots him or else there's a good chance you might not be able to use it again.
Pokemon number 594. Alola-Mola.
Yes, it should have been an evolution to Love Disc, I know. Of course, it's not, because Generation 5 is a soft reboot that wants to be completely separate from every other generation, and they needed a way to get heart scales, so just make another heart-shaped Fishmon instead. Except no! Alola-Mola doesn't even hold heart scales, so what was the point?
Well, at least it's not as atrocious as Love Disc when it comes to strength in-game. I mean, it's still not the best, but, real high HP and has a hidden ability Regenerator, which we already went over. Oof, actually kinda, yeah.
Also, one of its regular abilities, Healer, just it existing has a 30% chance to heal status conditions for its ally in a double battle. That's pretty decent. So yeah, it's Alola-Mola. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention, its name is a palindrome. It can be spelled backwards and say the exact same thing. Neat.
Pokemon number 595. Joltik.
Here we have this adorable little electric tick Pokemon that really just goes to show just how good Game Freak is at designing these kinds of creatures. Because in reality, I am not a big fan of bugs at all, and growing up outside the city, ticks. Oh, I hate ticks. They're the absolute worst, most annoying things ever, but oh, I love Joltik. He's absolutely adorable. And Joltik here actually serves as a positive example for the use of 3D models in Pokemon games. Like, you got these tiny little bugs, but then they move by, jumping so high up. So in Scarlet and Violet, when you run into, a horde of them, and they're all just, jumping after you, very memorable. So, yeah, it's Joltik. Would I hate a electric tick in real life? Oh, absolutely. But, we are right now in the realm of fantasy. Pokemon number 596. Galvantula. The tiny little Joltik has evolved into this real big spider. Well, not the biggest thing ever, but still, very much noticeable bigger, so yeah. And again, a real big electric spider in real life would hate. But, oh, I love Galvantula, he's real cool. I especially love the tech Galvantula has, thanks to one of its abilities, Compound Eyes. An ability that simply ups accuracy. Cool. But he's an electric type. Stab Thunder. Compound Eyes brings Thunder up from 70 to 91 accuracy. Oh, Stab Thunder with 90% accuracy and you don't even have to set up the rain? Oh, that's good. So yeah, it's Galvantula. Oh no, don't worry about getting bit by the spider. It'll zap you from a mile away instead.
Pokemon number 597. Ferroseed.
Here we have this really interesting looking Mon. It's a big seed, so part grass type, with a bunch of metal spikes on it, so part steel type. And instead of just absorbing nutrients in the ground like a regular grass type, according to the Pokedex, it absorbs minerals in rocks as its nutrients. Real interesting. And also just how it moves around, how it rolls around and such, and just its island animations is just it sitting there spinning. It's a really interesting Mon, I do like it. Of course, Ferroseed is also one of the most difficult Pokemon to train up ever. It is a first stage tank, so difficult to raise. It is 4 times weak to fire, so oof. And it doesn't evolve until level 40. So yeah, it's Ferroseed. Is it worth all the effort to raise this strange creature? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Pokemon number 598. Ferrothorn. Going through all that effort to raise a Ferroseed results in this absolute monster. Sure, it's a tank with a 4 times weakness, but that's one of its only weaknesses. This thing's insane. And it even has 94 attack, which, you know, under 100, but like, tanks have had worse. This thing can at least hit something.
Though I'd argue Ferrothorn is most well known for just how it walks. In black and white, its sprite is just, you know, it hanging there up on the ceiling, and you don't really think about it. And then you'll run into it in Poke Park 2. Not even in a main area, I think it was in an optional side cave. And you just see it walking on the ground with those things, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how it works. So yeah, it's Ferrothorn. Yeah, I know. Nowadays he's always on the ground, but running into him in 3D for the first time back in the day, memorable.
Pokemon number 599.
Clink. Here we have Magnemite's replacement for Gen 5, and I'm not even going to entertain it for a second. I like Magnemite more. Like, I don't hate Clink, like I hate, you know, the monkeys or the normal type rodent in this gen, but Clink is just so mid. And, you know, Clink gameplay doesn't really help at all either. First off, its regular abilities could be either plus or minus. Oh boy! And then, its higher stats are defense, so it's a first stage tank. That doesn't evolve to level 38 for the first time. Lovely. Okay, do I got anything positive to say? Its face is alright. So, yeah, it's Clink. Oh, this Pokemon suffered a fate worse than death. Being called mid.
Pokemon number 600. Clang.
Huh. I'm a big Gen 5 fan, a big Gen 5 defender. Guys, let's just give up Clang. Just give them up to the haters. Let them have this one. Alright? Save your energy. It's better spent defending other Gen 5 mons. Clang is literally just Clink with an extra gear added on to the back, and even the name is just slightly changed. Big oof all around. Honestly, Clang is a lot better of a recipient to the vanillish criticism of just skip the middle stage and just go right from the first to the final stage. This middle one feels unnecessary. And you know, that would even probably help with the evolution level, because Clang here takes until level 49 to evolve. So yeah, it's Clang. I forget which direction. Is it swipe left to reject?
Pokemon number 601. Kling Clang. Oh wow, they combined the name of the first 2 stages together, and the design is literally just adding on a bit more. You know, actually, I don't hate Kling Clang. Mainly because he's like cool set dressing to have behind Mr. Scientist Man Colress in black and white too. You know, he looks pretty cool sitting there spinning. And you know, a theory I've heard about why they even designed this line in the first place is because Generation 5 was going to have animated sprites, so they wanted a cool gear animated Pokemon spinning and such. Honestly, I can see it, and that being enough for them to greenlit this line. And you know, it actually has kind of decent stats. Also, get ready for this, it has 3 signature moves! Yes, they're given to later Gen Mons, but in Gen 5, exclusive. 3. So, yes, Kling Clang. I mean, I guess you could say it all came together at the end, but I don't know if I enjoyed this journey. Pokemon number 602. Tynamo. Here we have this little electric baby eel Pokemon. Honestly, it kind of looks more like a tadpole than an eel, so... An eel tadpole? Is that a thing? I don't know the life cycle of eels. Now, Tynamo is real interesting, because it is very difficult to train up. Tynamo is real dang weak, doesn't learn any new moves upon any sort of level up, and it takes until level 39 to evolve. Ooh. But then, Tynamo has such an interesting gimmick. It is a pure electric type with the levitate ability, getting rid of its one and only weakness of ground. So yeah, it's Tynamo. All that effort. Is it possible? With that levitate, maybe. Is it worth it? Probably. Pokemon number 603. Electric. Well, okay, yeah, that's its type, but what's the name of the Pokemon? Oh, that's its actual name. Oh, okay. You go through all that effort, and Tynamo finally evolves into... Yep, that's a bigger eel. That's now blue. And just looking at, the official Pokemon art of it, I can easily see it looking very disturbing when drawn realistically. You know?
Now, Electric could definitely be considered one of those forgettable middle stages, mainly because he evolves with a Thunderstone, which you can get in the same area you get Tynamo, so you'll have one the second he evolves. Also, literally his name. Though actually, no, because if you wait till level 54, Electric learns Coil. Now that's a good move. So, yeah, it's Electric. Yeah, okay, that's his type, but what's his name? Electric. No, what's his name? Electric. What's his name? Pokemon number 604. Electros. Dynamo's final evolution here is absolutely fantastic. As we mentioned back with Dynamo, having the ability to levitate and you're a pure electric type, he has no weaknesses. And 80 defenses, not the best thing ever, but still good enough, especially when you don't have any weaknesses. So, yeah, he's pretty good. Though, I do have to say, as a defender of the use of 3D models in Pokemon games, the current state of Electros' 3D model is not it, Chief, to say the least. Like, just him swimming there in the sky, I don't like it, nobody else likes it, like... And it's not even the problem with the 3D model. I've seen, fans take the 3D model and have him standing like his black and white sprite, and the 3D model looks just fine, so... Yeah. They fixed Typhlosion, so hopefully they'll fix Electros eventually. So, yeah, it's Electros. Absolutely fantastic. Other than his 3D model's idle animation at the moment. Pokemon number 605. LGM. In the past, I've talked about how some forgettable Pokemon are actually memorable for how forgettable they are. You remember to put them on the most forgettable list at the very least. I think LGM and his evolution here are, mons you forget to put on the most forgettable list. You have this strange little alien Pokemon that, isn't very strong, doesn't have any, crazy gimmicks, and takes till level 42 to evolve. And let me tell you how painful that 42 is. Looking at his stats, he's, comparable to a middle stage starter, which normally evolve at 36. So from 36 to 42, LGM falls off so hard. So yeah, it's LGM. Actually, because he's a mysterious, secretive alien, maybe the forgetfulness is on purpose. Conspiracy. Pokemon number 606. Behem. LGM's evolution here, once again, just definitely falls into the forgettable category. I mean, that 125 special attack, especially with Stab Psychic, ain't the worst thing ever, but that 40 speed, ooh, I don't even know if it's low enough for Trick Room to be effective. Though I guess Behem has one thing that keeps him from being totally forgettable, that one meme in the anime where he calls Ash and Team Rocket too stupid to mind control. That's a funny moment, but that's kind of about all he has. Also, looking at his stats and comparing it to a final stage starters, yeah, he really could have evolved 6 levels earlier at 36 and been fine. So yeah, it's Behem. Oh, I haven't talked about my thoughts on them, about either of these guys. Let's see. They're fine. I like them just fine. Pretty neutral on them. I have every Pokemon memorized, so, they ain't forgettable for me, but that's just because that's impossible. Pokemon number 607. Litwick. Here we have this neat little ghost candle. I'd say, ooh, so spooky, but it's so cute, I just can't. But actually, Litwick is pretty dang spooky because it kind of, uses a person's life force as its fuel for its fires, so, ooh. Though, as much as I like Litwick, and I do like Litwick, we gotta be fair and balanced here. He takes till level 41 to evolve, and he's just a weak little guy, so, oof. I mean, I've used one before, but, yeah. Well, at least he has Flame Body for one of his abilities, so if an enemy just hits him, a good chance he'll get burned and hit less hard next time. So, yeah, it's Litwick. Okay, you know how sometimes I put something on my shelf to represent the Pokemon I'm talking about? For a brief second I thought about putting a candle here, but I don't know about having a lit flame next to my books on my wooden shelf, Pokemon number 608. Lampent. Upon evolving, Litwick here has gone from a little old candle to a full-on old-timey lamp. Though an old-timey lamp is just a device that holds a candle in it, so... well, yeah. And Lampent here, just like Electric recently, is another one of those forgettable middle stages, because it takes so long to evolve it to here, and then it evolves out of it by a stone, which you probably already have, so you're probably evolving him right away. Oh, but wait, Electric had some level up moves you might have wanted to wait for before you evolved him. What about Lampent here? At 45 he learns Curse, okay, if you want to go that route, and then 61 he learns Pain Split. Yeah, no one's waiting for that. You're evolving him right away or waiting 4 levels for Curse, and that's it. So, yeah, it's Lampent. Okay, just because I called him a forgettable middle stage doesn't mean I don't like him. I like him just fine. He just kinda, is. Pokemon number 609. Nice. Chandelure. Litwig's final evolution has gone full Chandelure, and he's just absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love Chandelure. And Chandelure here is one of Gen 5's biggest defense warriors. Oh, Game Freak's just so out of ideas, they'll take any old object they find lying around and turn it into a Pokemon. Look at Chandelure. It is an object. It's an object mod. It is a Chandelier. It is also peak design. It is so dang good. And it's also pretty dang good in-game with a nice 145 special attack to Nukia and respectable 90 defenses, maybe even to respectable-ish 80 speed. Not bad. And his abilities, while none of them are crazy OP instant wins, they're usable, they're useful. So yeah, it's Chandelure. Peak object design. Enough said. Pokemon number 610. Axew. Here we have this adorable little baby dragon that isn't the pseudo. It's just another random 3-stager dragon. And while he may not be the pseudo, he does have pseudo-legendary looking level-ups, with it being at 38 to evolve. Though, with 87 attack and 57 speed, I think Axew at level to evolve to level 38 just barely squeaks by. But he does. And of course I gotta bring up that Ash's companion in the anime had an Axew as her partner, and Axew was just so adorable in the anime as well. And rarity in Pokemon can be hard to talk about, Feebas, but I think Axew has a good level of rarity. He's off in some side cave, but once you find the cave, it's like a 10% chance in the bottom floor? So yeah, it's Axew. So fantastic, and he ain't even the pseudo. Pokemon number 611. Fracture. Axew's evolution here just gets a bit bigger and gets some longer horns. Yeah, a fine middle stage. Nice progression. And to get Fracture up to its final evolution, again, a pseudo-legendary level of 48. And let's see, with that 117 attack and 67 speed, again, I think Fracture just barely squeaks by from falling off before evolving. Barely. And at level 32, Axew already learned Dragon Dance, so Fracture with Dragon Dance, yeah, that's definitely helpful to keep him useful. And this whole Axew situation we've had before with Trapinch, a 3-stager dragon that wasn't the pseudo. Interesting. Is Axew perhaps a Trapinch spiritual successor? It is a soft reboot generation after all. So yeah, it's Fracture. A pretty decent middle stage. But let's just get on to the big boy. Pokemon number 612. Haxorus. Axew's final evolution here is an absolute monster. Oh, and I love Haxorus. A nice 147 attack, 97 speed, even a 90 defense. Yeah, he's pretty good. Though, of course, what really keeps Haxorus down is his abilities. None of them are too crazy. Like, Rivalry, Mold Breaker, though. I mean, Mold Breaker can be useful, being able to hit a levitating Rotom or levitating Gengar before they got rid of Levitate. With Earthquake, yeah, that's pretty good, being able to hit Shedinja with anything. Yeah. I guess that's the real thing about Haxorus not being a pseudo. He is real dang strong, but he ain't busted. So, yeah, it's Haxorus. What's that? He's not a pseudo? I don't think he cares. He's still gonna get the job done. Pokemon number 613. Cubchoo. Here we have this little ice bear cub that has a runny nose from the cold. Yeah, growing up in a cold state, I can very much relate. And even though I understand the why, honestly, not a fan of that. Like, the bear itself, real cute, yeah, but not a fan of the mucus hanging out. Wasn't a fan of Gloom back in Gen 1, not a fan of this here in Gen 5. But then you got the Pokedex talking about how, actually, if it doesn't have any mucus hanging out of it, then that means that it is sick, ironically enough. So, yeah, it's Cubchoo. Wait, is this like a Charmander situation? Where if we give him a Kleenex and wipe him up, he'll die? Pokemon number 614. Beartic. Cubchoo's evolution here honestly kind of got a lot more plain. He's just a pure white bear now, with, I guess, some icicles for a little bit of color under his mouth, but that's about it. Now with Beartic being a pure ice type, and taking to level 37 to evolve, ooh, yeah, he probably isn't the best. Though, he has 110 attack, and if you get him set up in Hail, he has Slush Rush, so that makes his speed 100 speed, so if you set him up, he might be able to do some damage. Oh, and since it's already hailing, might as well put up Aurora Veil, and yeah. Okay, yeah, Beartic might be able to be usable. Of course, both Aurora Veil and Slush Rush aren't till Gen 7, so... So, yeah, it's Beartic. Those icicles are probably just dried mucus, now stuck to him. I don't want to think about that. No, thank you. Pokemon number 615. Cryogonal. Here we have this very creepy looking snowflake Pokemon. He definitely falls under the category of a unpopular Objectmon, but like, I don't dislike him, mainly because I've literally never seen him as an object. Like, he's a snowflake, but I guess a snowflake is technically an object. Sure. Now, Cryogonal is a pure ice type, and its highest stat being special defense. Yeah, it's not the best, but it is kind of interesting. With that high special defense, I've seen it before in playthroughs survive a stab flamethrower. And then it has a surprisingly high speed of 97, so then it can, like, hit back with Ancient Power, a nice super effective rock type move on my fire type. So yeah, it's Cryogonal. Just try melting this snowflake. It'll survive and hit you with some rocks. And then you just gotta hit it again, and it's probably on red HP. Pokemon number 616. Shelmet. Okay, finally. We finally made it to the Pokemon you have to trade Carablast with in order to evolve, well, both of them. Shelmet is a neat little bug in a suit of armor, though interestingly that armor does not give it the steel typing, it is pure bug. And for once I'm actually happy with that, because a weak first stage bug with a 4 times weakness? Talk about unusable. And you know, I like Shelmet just fine, you know, has that funny kissy lip thing going on and such. And just has a small little fun game design thing. One of his abilities, Hydration, heals status conditions in rain, and a lot of the routes you can find him in a lot of the games can have a chance of raining, so yeah, neat. So yeah, it's Shelmet. What'll happen when he unshackles this armor and becomes unburdened by it? Tune in next time. Pokemon number 617. Excelgor. Relinquishing that armor, Shelmet has now become a full-on, super fast ninja, with a nice 145 speed. And normally you'd think of ninjas as physical attackers, with swords and karate and such, but Excelgor here has 100 special attack. So yeah, those stats and low defenses, classic glass cannon. And Excelgor can get even more ridiculous with its hidden ability, Unburden, doubling its speed after using or losing its item. So 145 doubled, 290 speed, oh boy. And starting in the Gen 3 remake, Excelgor got Water Shuriken, which is really funny. Funny because it's a signature move of the Gen 6 Water Starter, which we'll get to, you know, when we get there. So yeah, it's Excelgor. Just does that Unburden, and then just teleports right behind you, going nothing personnel, kid. Pokemon number 618. Stunfisk. Here we have an absolute definition of a controversial Pokemon. Because there are people that are loudly for it, and there are people that are loudly against it. You love it and get the joke, or absolutely can't stand it and don't care about any joke it's trying to tell. And, I mean, I don't love it, but, you know, I like it just fine, you know. I like the joke, you know, a funny flat pancake fish Pokemon. Yeah. It's all flat, so it hides in the mud, and then you step on it, and then zaps you, because it's a part electric type. And you know, electric ground, that's a pretty unique typing, only shared by one other Pokemon, a Paradox in Gen 9. We'll get there. So, yeah, it's Stunfisk. Do I bring back the classic defense? Sure, let's do it. How can you have so much vitriol towards him? He's just a silly little guy. Pokemon number 619. Mienfoo. Here we have this neat little martial art fighting type, Actually, what is Mienfoo based off of? Let's see, it's based off in Ermine. What the heck is an Ermine? Let's see, an Ermine is a species of Mustelid. What the heck is a Mustelid? Mienfoo may also be based off some weasel yokai. Okay, I understand that. And apparently Mienfoo was specifically requested by the game designers because I guess most fighting types are based off, you know, are humanoid, so they specifically wanted an animal fighting type. And yeah, Mienfoo's a good design. I like it. Though, interestingly, one of its main abilities is Regenerator, healing HP when you switch out, and its lowest stat is HP, so I wonder how that just works together. So yeah, it's Mienfoo. It's a weasel. I'm done doing research. Pokemon number 620. Mienshao. Mienfoo's evolution here, again, is a good design, I do like it. And some great stats, nice high attack and speed, and even not bad special attack. And its HP is no longer its lowest stat. As in, its defenses are 60, and its HP is 65, so... But of course, the elephant in the room here is that evolution level of 50! Now here, we are getting into the really bad evolution levels of Gen 5. Oh, that is horrible. Oh, but you know, they make it a high level because it's such a strong mon, I gotta gatekeep it till you get to that point in the game. No. Mienshao's attack is 125. Zoroark's special attack is 120 and evolves at level 30. Rhinoniclus's special attack is 125 and evolves at level 41. You get the point. So yeah, it's Mienshao. Cool Mon. Not cool evolution level. Pokemon number 621. Dredigan. Or Dredagon, Drudagon, whatever. Dredigan here is the poster child for Gen 5 Mon's overdesigned bad designs. Now do I, as a big Gen 5 defender, have a defense for Dredigan? I mean, I don't hate him, but he ain't my favorite. You know, maybe it's just nostalgia and familiarity that I'm just used to him by now, and I'm just like, he's not that bad. Though, as a side note, I do find it real funny that people are like, Gen 5 designs are just so over-designed, when the regional bird is the most basic pigeon you've ever seen. Right, we're talking about Dredigan. I don't know, maybe if you remove one thing, like maybe he's like one thing too over-designed, maybe. So, yeah, it's Dredigan. Like, really, maybe just like remove the spiky wings, or remove the spikes, or change the head up. I don't know, I'm not a monster designer. Pokemon number 622. Golett. Here we have this neat little ancient golem thing. Real cool, I do like him. And he's part ghost type because he's ancient? Is that how that works? To the Pokedex. Okay, the only really guess I have is the Pokedex talks about how his energy source is like unknown, unrecognizable, so like, it's ghost energy, ooh. Nah, I don't know. And interestingly, Golett has basically a coin flip with his abilities. You can either get Klutz, where you can't use held items and that's it, or Iron Fist, to power up punching moves. I wonder which one you want. So yeah, it's Golett. Like, does anybody else have any other better ideas for why he's part ghost type other than he's an ancient golem running on ghost energy? Pokemon number 623. Golurk. Golett's evolution here is an absolutely fantastic, really cool, big golem that can even fly. He flies now? I'm sorry. Like, it's really interesting that you have this whole retracting-ness of Golurk that you see on his concept art, but you never see in the black and white itself. But then if you play Pokepark 2 or watch the anime, you see it there. Again, this shows the power of 3D models. But Game Freak, why doesn't Golurk do that in the main games nowadays? Come on now. And that evolution level of 43. Not as painful as Mienshao, nothing is after that. But again, it's another nice tinge of irony because he evolved 7 levels sooner than Mienshao and only has 1 less attack than Mienshao. So yeah, it's Golurk. Like, really, Game Freak, you can't even have him do the retracting flying thing as like his running animation when he's following you in the overworld? Like, come on, take advantage of the 3D models! Pokemon number 624. Poniard. Here we have this neat little dark steel type little blade soldier based off of the pawn from chess. And yeah, I do like Poniard. He's pretty neat. Not only does he have blades for hands, but he basically has a rib cage made out of blades as well. It's like sticking out. Not even sticking out, just is out. Though, oof, that 4 times weakness to fighting can certainly hurt. But, you know, his second lowest stat by 5 is HP. So, like, we'll just don't bring him in on a fighting type. And yeah, he's pretty decent. And that evolution level of 52, oh, that is painful. Specifically because his attack of 85 and defense of 70, I don't know how well that can hold up until he gets to 52. So yeah, it's Poniard. Hey, do you think that Dark type represents wartime war crimes? I don't know how to end this one. Pokemon number 625. Bisharp. Poniard's evolution here has become a bishop piece, which is real interesting, because when you think about chess, you'd think he'd become a king. He got a new evolution recently, and he became a king. And yeah, I do like Bisharp, a nice 125 attack, Steel and Dark being good typings, you know? He just has low HP, so just don't bring him in on a fighting type and you're good. But his new evolution is so interesting, because I've always seen Bisharp, as a complete Mon, growing up. And then I'm thinking, is this how Gen 1ers look at Rhydon? I grew up with Gen 4, so I see Rhydon as incomplete. People who grew up with Gen 1 see Rhydon as complete, and now people who grow up with Gen 9 will see Bisharp as incomplete. It's fascinating. Though Bisharp evolution has definitely gone down a lot better than Rhyperior. So yeah, it's Bisharp. A cool Mon that has only recently become just real existential, Pokemon number 626. Bouffalant. Alright, raise your hand if you think this should have been an evolution of Tauros. Well, I'm not raising my hand, I don't think that. Like, yeah, one's a bull, one's a buffalo, they can be separate, this is fine. Bouffalant actually has the exact same base stat total as Tauros. He just, has different stat spread, different abilities and such. And I guess I like Boufflant just fine, you know, he ain't my favorite or anything, but, you know, a buffalo is very fitting for America. And Boufflant definitely has some good abilities. Reckless, just to up his recoil moves, or the surprise Sap Sipper. You just can't hit him with grass types anymore. I know, I was certainly taken aback by that when I first ran into him. So, yeah, it's Boufflant. You could say he's Tauros' replacement, but I don't know, I think they're pretty equal. Pokemon number 627. Rufflet. Here we have this adorable little eagle Pokemon, and like, yeah, obviously you're gonna have an eagle in an American region, that is a no-brainer. And yeah, I do love Rufflet. Not because I'm an American, so I have to. I just think he's really cute. Though I will say the patriotism got to me a little bit, because I kind of, shiny hunted for one on the 4th of July. Yep. Yeah, I really did that. Well, to be fair, I was just playing the game on the 4th of July, saw there happened to be a Rufflet outbreak, and was like, yeah, why not? It's the 4th of July. Though, oof. That evolution level of 54. Oh, it just keeps going up ever since Mienfoo. Oh, that's so painful. And Rufflet's stats? No, they do not keep up to 54. This guy falls off. Hello, EXP share, and back at the party. So, yeah, it's Rufflet. No wonder eagles are protected species. Rufflet's so dang weak, we gotta protect him. He can't do anything. Pokemon number 628. Braviary. America. Here we have just this full-on bald eagle. He even has red, white, and blue as his color scheme, like, yeah. Oh, and he even has some yellow, which could represent, because, you know, stars are, like, stereotypically yellow, and there's stars on the American flag. Like, oh my goodness, this thing is just like, this is America right here. Oh, and he even has a brave in the name, and then brave has, you know, the word brave is used when talking about, you know, stereotyped America, and all that's like, yeah. This is Braviary, alright. Thank you, Japan, for this 300% American bird. And, yeah, I do like Braviary, you know, he's a cool, neat bird. Only has 80 speed, but I think he's still decent. So, yeah, it's Braviary. Is this all maybe perhaps just a little too much? I dare not say, I don't want to get in trouble with the government. Pokemon number 629. Vullaby. Here we have this little baby vulture, and a version-exclusive counterpart with Rufflet. Wait, so does that mean the patriotic thing to do as Americans is to only play the version with Rufflet? Anyways, you got yourself a baby vulture, and it's using a skull as a diaper? Yeah, that's definitely vulture-like, alright. And of course, being a counterpart, that means Vullaby also has the same horrible evolution level of 54 as Rufflet. But Vullaby is much worse because, oh, we haven't talked about one in a while, it's a first stage tank. Meaning it's not strong enough to duel out a hit or take a hit until level 54. And I thought Rufflet was useless. So yeah, it's Vullaby. You know, I actually really want to know, did white version sell more copies in the US? Obviously not because of Rufflet, but it'd be funny. Pokemon number 630. Mandibuzz. Vullaby's evolution here definitely looks like your typical vulture. And it's gone from a bone diaper to a bone skirt. And a bone in its hair, kinda. Hair, you know. Like a classic caveman, or cave woman. It's a 100% female species. And according to the Pokedex, it even makes its nest out of bones. Yeah, it's a very bone-centered mon. So are you surprised to hear that Mandibuzz can learn Cubone's signature move of Bone Rush? Well, Cubone and Lucario can also learn it, but then it's just those three, Mandibuzz, Lucario, Cubone. Yeah, as for gameplay, I'm not really a tank user, but it seems fine. No 4x weakness and 2 immunities. Yeah. So yeah, it's Mandibuzz. Look out, because if it targets you, you're boned. Should I really go with that joke? Oh, video's over. Pokemon number 631. Heatmore. This Fire-type Anteater Pokemon is one of those that's like pretty forgettable, and then randomly gets a signature move a few generations after its debut. Well, I say signature, but like 2 other Pokemon also learn the move, but like that's just 2 others. And like the Pokedex literally talks about how Heatmore, you know, uses its fire as like whips to lash, so like, yeah, that's its move. Oh, but then there's the fact that Fire Lash is a physical move, and Heatmore is a special attacker. Game Freak, you knew he was a special attacker for 2 whole generations. Why'd you give him a physical signature move? Though even if it was special, I don't know how much that would have helped because he has 66 speed and 66 defenses. So yeah, it's Heatmore. Oh, you know, I didn't even mention what I think about the design. I'm not really a fan. Pokemon number 632. Durant. Durant definitely seems to be one of those forgettable Pokemon, but I actually like him. You know, according to the Pokedex, basically, he used to be just a regular bug type. And then, to protect himself from his natural enemy Heatmore, he gained the Steel typing. Now making him 4 times weak to the thing he was trying to protect himself from. That's so funny! And Durant is also one of those Pokemon, where if you find it as you're encountering a Nuzlocke, you're like, I wasted my encounter for this guy. But then, he actually has decent stats, so he might end up coming in useful for said Nuzlocke. You know, I've seen it happen before. And let me tell you, I as the viewer was just as surprised as the Nuzlocker themselves actually using it. So yeah, it's Durant. Alright, let's just do this once. Kevin Durant. Pokemon number 633. Dino. Here we have the pseudo-legendary of Generation 5, meaning we're nearing the end, finally starting to wind down on this generation. And Dino has a fantastic typing of Dark and Dragon. Well, in Gen 5, immediately next generation, when Fairy's introduced, he now has a 4 times weakness. So use him while you can. Except no. No, you can't use him while you can. Oh boy, here we go. Gabite into Garchomp is at level 48. Dino into his first evolution is at level 50. And even worse, you only find him at the end of the game in Victory Road at max level 40. Now let's see, with your team being around the 50s and you're at the end of the game, well, do you want me to use him in Game Freak or not? Though to be fair, Gen 5's post-game is real chonky, so like, maybe you'll have time. So yeah, it's Dino. Man, this really is a Gen 1 reboot, where you can't get the pseudo-legendary fully evolved till post-game. Pokemon number 634. Zawilus. Dino's evolution here has grown a second head, showing that the theme of this dragon type is a Hydra, and yeah, I like Hydras, they're real cool. And of course I would be remiss not to bring up the most obvious classic of fun facts for this line. Ein, Zwei, and Drei, however you say them, are the German words for 1, 2, and 3, and they correspond to the number of heads Dino has throughout his evolution method. Real cool. Also, this whole Dino line kind of also represents tanks, like, barely. They basically got tire treads on their stomachs, and that's just about it. So, yeah, it's Zawilus. Wait, this is an American region. Why is the pseudo-legendary based off of a German thing? I mean, I guess America is a melting pot, you know? The legendaries in this generation are Taoism yin-yang, so like, yeah. Pokemon number 635. Hydreigon. Hydreigon, right? That's how you say it?
Hydreigon!
Really? Hydreigon here is absolutely fantastic. As I mentioned all the way back in Gen 4 with Garchomp, it's between Garchomp and Hydreigon for my favorite pseudo. They're always going back and forth. You know, they're just both so cool. And they both got a 4 times weakness, so. Hydreigon is this super cool and intimidating, violent dragon, dark type. Has so much good coverage as a special attacker and such. Yeah, I love him. Now, if only he was actually obtainable in the one generation he doesn't have a 4 times weakness. I guess that's one thing Garchomp hasn't beat by. So yeah, that's Hydreigon. Oh yeah, I also want to talk about how I love in the anime, if they give him like a nice trainer, he's just, you know, a cute, nice little dragon. It's like, neat. Pokemon number 636. Larvesta. Oh, okay, another Pokemon just in between the pseudo and the legendaries. Interesting. Larvesta's a neat, cute little bug. I do like him. But, to be fair and balanced, usability. Once you get Surf, after the 6th gym badge, you can obtain a Larvesta egg, and that's the only way to get Larvesta. Now, okay, you're like in the 40s, you know, 6 badges through, and you get a level 1 Eggmon. Oh, but it's worse. Because you see Larvesta here doesn't evolve until level 59! The average level I finished the game around is 54! Okay, what about stats and moves? Does he keep up? No. So, yeah, it's Larvesta. Alright, put your pitchforks down. I like Larvesta, but I'm telling you, he's not usable. Pokemon number 637. Volcarona. Oh, here we go. Oh, I love Volcarona. He's so cool. Of course, again, you gotta evolve Larvesta. Or, you know, just catch the static one in the post-game. Or catch the static one mid-game in Black and White 2. You know, I really think the Black and White 2 encounter goes to show that even Game Freak realized the absurdity of this specific Mon with the levels. But yeah, Volcarona is absolutely fantastic. That 4 times weakness to rock does not matter. Fantastic special attack and speed and just, yeah, nice coverage, just great. Oh, also Volcarona learns a neat signature move. At level 100! What is going on with the levels of this Mon? So yeah, it's Volcarona. Somehow both worth the effort and not worth the effort. Mainly because that static encounter in the post-game, Yeah, that's a lot quicker and easier to get than leveling our Larvesta all the way up to 59. Pokemon number 638. Cobalion. Here we have our first legendary Pokemon of Generation 5. Well, other than Victini at the beginning of the Dex. And Cobalion here is the leader of his trio, and this trio is based on the Three Musketeers. Wait, wouldn't a Three Musketeers Pokemon work better in a French region? Foreshadowing. And I like Cobalion, he's pretty neat. It's pretty interesting how they kind of flip the script, because normally you gotta like catch the other two in the trio and then the leader appears, but this time, gotta catch the leader first. Also, I gotta shout out Cobalion being the main bad guy, antagonist, rival, whatever, for Pokemon Rumble Blast. This game gets stupid amount of slander, and I will fight you to the death in this game being fantastic. So, yeah, it's Cobalion. Yeah, he definitely gives off the aura of being a leader. Very fitting for his role. Pokemon number 639. Terrakion. The muscle of this trio. Oh, and I didn't say it last time, but this trio is called the Swords of Justice. And Terrakion's probably my least favorite. I don't hate him or anything, but just, you know, there always has to be a last place. You know, Cobalion is noble, the final one of the trio is elegant, and Terrakion here is the brute. And I'm just, you know, not the biggest fan of the brute archetype. Though, let's be nice, he has fantastic attack and speed, so, you know, definitely usable. Even though he has 7 different weaknesses, at least he doesn't have any 4 times weaknesses, thank goodness. So, yeah, it's Terrakion. I can appreciate the strong man, but I'm just not vibing with him personally, you know? Nothing against him. Pokemon number 640. Virizion. It is Virizion, right? There's no shot it's...
Verizon.
Huh. Verizon Wireless, I guess. The final one of this trio, and the aforementioned elegant one I mentioned yesterday. And yeah, I do like Virizion. Like I said, it's all elegant and such, you know, it has nice... Ooh, I haven't said this word in a while. Nice aesthetics, you know? Though I will say, Virizion is the most difficult to catch, because it's the only one of the trio that's not in a cave, so you can't use Dusk Balls unless you're playing at night. And it also has Giga Drain, so it keeps healing itself and just... Oh, it's not a fun time. Sure, it's not full on rest, but still. So, yeah, it's Virizion. Okay, yes, I know I just did the Pokedex joke with Hydreigon, but like, come on, Virizion, I had to make sure. Pokemon number 641. Tornadus. Out from one legendary trio and into another. The Genie trio, as they're called, certainly gets a lot of flack. Because 1, they're kind of just a guy, and 2, they're all kind of just have the same design. Though they're then luckily saved by getting fancy animal alternative forms in the sequels. And I'm definitely one of those people that prefers the animal form, doesn't really care for the human forms too much. Well, okay, let's actually focus in on Tornadus himself. He was the first pure flying type, but interesting it took 5 generations for us to get one. And I mean, I guess his tail thing looks kind of neat, you know, has those yellow things representing wind and such. So yeah, it's Tornadus. Quick, make a wish. What's that? Alternate forms? Luckily, Game Freak already got us covered. Pokemon number 642. Thundurus. Tornadus' counterpart, and like we said previously, just looks relatively the same. And I definitely think out of the 2, Thundurus is like better when it comes to like usability and competitive play. Probably just thanks to, you know, electric and flying being good typings. Yes, I know the leader of this group is cracked and competitive, but I'm just talking between these 2. And you know, I couldn't find it on Bulbapedia, but I could have sworn the origin of these guys was they were originally one Mon, and then late in development they divided them up, and that's why they all look the same in black and white. They didn't have enough time, and then so they gave them new forms in the sequels. Again, couldn't find that on Bulbapedia, so either it just isn't on Bulbapedia, or I am spreading misinformation right now. There's also Beta Genies in the Terra League, so like, I really don't know. So yeah, it's Thundurus. More the same, just a bit more usable. Well, actually, considering who the leader is, that's going to be a bit of a trend. Pokemon number 643. Reshiram. Our first box art legendary of Gen 5. And I do really like Reshiram. You got this elegant, regal Pokemon with those things on its head, you know, all flowy-like. It's Fire and Dragon. Those are 2 of my favorite typings. And when I see people complaining about Generation 5 designs being over-designed, a big contender I always see is the, basically, generator tail on the box art legendaries. And this just, like, perfectly shows just how much I'm the opposite of a hater of absolutely loving Gen 5, because the generator tail is my favorite part of the design. And I will not back down on that. So, yeah, it's Reshiram. Actually, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. He is a white dragon with blue eyes. A certain CEO is going to be very happy. Pokemon number 644. Zekrom. Reshiram's counterpart here definitely looks a lot similar. Like, these two box arts look a lot similar than, past box art legendaries have. And of course, that's just because they're supposed to be balanced, yin-yang is the whole theme going on here, and lore-wise, they were once the same creature, so makes sense. Meaning, I like Reshiram, so yeah, I like Zekrom. Neat generator tail still, he's all black, and that's, cool and such, so... But which one do I like more? When Black and White were released, I went up to the game store, and it was literally like, new Pokemon game, please. And he handed me White version first. So, yeah, Zekrom's my favorite. So, yeah, it's Zekrom. Are you really gonna let fate decide which one you like more? Well, yeah, they look pretty similar, so it's kind of hard to choose. I like them both. So, yeah, let fate do it. Pokemon number 645. Landorus. Okay, finally, back to the genius to finish them off. And Landorus here. Yep, looks exactly the same as the last two, with just some slight differences. Thank goodness they gave him an alternate form in Black and White too. Well, for the casuals, that's thank goodness. For competitive players, that's a nightmare. And since he, looks similar to two other Pokemon I've already talked about, what more is there really to say? I guess here's something odd that I found digging around in the Pokedex, looking for something to talk about for him. Even though he has higher attack than special attack, and attack is his highest stat, he gives out 3 special attack EVs when defeated, and that's like... why? So yeah, it's Landorus. Congratulations, your reward for catching these 2 guys is just another guy. We need those Therian form stat. I don't care how much it traumatizes the competitive players. Pokemon number 646. Kyurem. The third box art legendary is this empty, lifeless husk that just kind of stands there all menacingly and such. And considering it's just kind of the leftovers when Reshiram and Zekrom split, yeah, very fitting. Of course, I gotta shout out that Kyurem almost kills the player in Black and White 2. Favorite scene, by the way. And there's also folk tales of Kyurem just eating people. Like, there's no, implying innuendo. They just straight up say, yeah, he eats people. Unless I am misremembering and it is only implied. So, yeah, it's Kyurem. Wait a minute, you didn't even bring up his alternate forms, and those are, like, real big topics. Yeah, I have a lot to say about those. I just, think at this point we're just gonna wait until I'm done with all the base Pokemon, and then we'll go back and talk about all their alternate forms. Pokemon number 647. Keldeo. I know that at times it can seem that I'm pretty dang basic. Oh, your favorite Pokemon character is Cynthia. Oh, who could have seen that coming? But allow me to go against the mold, go against the popular opinion of the community for a moment, and say that I like Keldeo. I really like Keldeo. For those who are more casual fans and don't know, Keldeo is widely hated among the community. Very unpopular. Keldeo is the secret 4th Musketeer. Yes, there really is a 4th one. There really was a 4th one. And it's a child sidekick, a child prodigy, and such. And, people don't like him because, oh, he's the annoying child sidekick character. But I don't know, man. I don't find him annoying at all. I like him. What can I say? I experienced Keldeo the developer-intended way. I got the level 15 event in Black and White. I transferred over to Black and White 2 Day 1, did the Secret Sword event, and had Keldeo on my team for my first ever playthrough of Black 2. And to add to it even more, Black 2 is my only save file from my childhood that I, 1, didn't cheat in, or use any cheat devices, and 2, haven't deleted. And as for his movie bad. Well, when the movie premiered that night, I invited a good friend of mine over, and we watched the movie premiere together, and it was just, a good time, a nice special memory. And, it was cool seeing Keldeo try his hardest to fight Kyurem as he's switching between his 3 forms. It's a fun little film. Also, Keldeo being able to shoot water out of his hooves in order to fly is pretty neat. So now the question is, well, is it just nostalgia? Is Keldeo genuinely unlikable unless you're nostalgic for him, like I am? Well, I'd like to argue the opposite, actually. That the many loud haters of Keldeo have negative nostalgia towards Keldeo, and therefore don't like him. Didn't have a good experience watching the movie, didn't, use him in Black and White 2 and such. So that means that the real, true answer is Keldeo is just fine. So yeah, it's Keldeo. Man, you really went and made an over 2-minute video just for Keldeo? Yes, he deserves it. Pokemon number 648. Meloetta. Our next mythical is this adorable, pretty little pop star Pokemon. I absolutely love Meloetta. Her hair looks like music sheets. She has like a little headset microphone just like as a part of her physical being. Yeah. And its cry is just so iconic. And it does have a neat gimmick of switching between a physical and special version of itself via just using its signature move. Though like we went over with Darmanitan all the way back then, it's not the best because you only have, so many move slots, so it's like you just gotta pick one. And if you pick the physical version, you first have to use the move to get into said physical state, so, yeah. So yeah, it's Meloetta. Okay, I get using a Miku figure for the Meloetta video, but why a Halloween one? That's gotta be... Oh my god. Guess I know I should probably bump those numbers up, but like, I don't got too much room left on my shelf. Pokemon number 649, the last Pokemon of Generation 5. Genesect. He got this really cool, teched out ancient bug with a bunch of fancy tech, a cannon and such, and yeah, I do really like Genesect, he's really cool. A neat gimmick where he has an item that changes his signature move to one of 4 different types. Nice. Well, 5 if you don't use the drives, it's just a normal type move. And I also love that Genesect can go all hoverboard by just, doing what a turtle does and such. Really cool. And I also really want to shout out the Adventures manga, because you got, like, the Black 2 protagonists and Colress just, like, fighting each other just on Genesect in the air, like, during the climax. That's really cool. Though Genesect also has a bit of controversy tied to it, because its solo movie also has Mewtwo in it, and said movie with Mewtwo in it completely ignores the first Pokemon movie. Oh, kids these days just don't respect the classics. No, I like the first movie. And I, as a kid, was very upset that the Genesect movie just completely ignored the first movie. And then I found out that Pokemon just doesn't own the first movie. They're legally not allowed to, like, do anything with it. They had to go to, like, the scriptwriter's estate when they wanted to do that 3D remake, so, like, yeah, they legally had to ignore the first movie when making that Genesect movie, so... Okay. Honestly, now that I know about this, I kind of want to go back and watch the Genesect movie again, see how I feel about it now that I know that they legally had to ignore the first movie. So yeah, Genesect. Oh, I didn't even say what I think about the theory that Genesect is a teched out Kabutops. There's a good chance. Gen 5's a soft reboot, Gen 1 echoing, so like, yeah, there's a good chance.